Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech, the podcast. Welcome back to another exciting episode. If you missed our epic live stream last night celebrating my 100,000 subscriber plaque, then you missed 7.5 hours of questionable goodness. It was a long stream. It didn't seem like a long stream, but it was a long stream.
It was like Viper length.
Yeah, I know. Viper just like he just like faded out and just dropped off.
He needs to conserve his energy for his show.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, we had, I think all told, we had something like 7 or 8 guests on with us at different points.
It was awesome.
Yeah, good times. Tonight we're gonna talk about the technology. We've got a few stories. We're gonna try and keep it nice and concise, because that's always our goal, even though we typically fail.
Jason's tired. He wants to leave, guys. He didn't want to do this at all.
When I don't get enough sleep, my sinuses they just pain me, and I get like kind of sinusy, migrainey thing.
I had to write him an essay via text. These are the reasons why you have to do this, because last Tuesday we got screwed over, and the people need their Painfully Honest Tech.
That's true. Podcast. It's true. Okay, so we're here. We're going to do it.
But we're going to ask the people an important question.
Okay, let's do it.
I've been hinting about this, and it didn't happen today, guys. I have some bad news. I applied to have G Fuel be a sponsor of mine. They wrote me a very polite. I applied to that, and I wrote them a very compelling reasons. I wrote them a really good letter on top of what they asked for a couple of weeks ago, and they wrote me a very nice letter back today. And they said no, but they did say they did offer some words of encouragement. They said, we got our eye on you, and that's great. That's all I want. Cool. Ironically enough, my package from G Fuel, the stuff I bought, showed up today. So I actually ordered 2 shakers. This first one, check it out. Ultimate Warrior shaker. All right. Okay. And then there's this green one. I don't know what it says. It says like Riff Raft. Okay. We're going to go with the Ultimate Warrior one, because I think Viper would approve. But what I need to know from you guys, I'm going to read off some flavors here really quick. You guys are going to tell me what flavors to drink tonight. I'm going to drink it live here on the air. I've got my water here to mix it. I haven't even cleaned out the cup. Jason, this is going to be dangerous. You can leave. I'll take over for 5 more hours. All right.
Last night, Zach had some of this stuff in pop rock form, and awesome. And he was insane for the last 2 hours.
I've had 2 hours of sleep, and yeah. I even released a video today, like literally 20 minutes ago, and it's doing really well.
Good, cool.
Really?
I didn't do any video today, so I gotta. So now that I have, this is one thing that you don't take into account. So I'm getting some sponsorships, and I've got a sponsor video that I've got to make so I can drop it into another video. And I didn't think about having time to do that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask the people really quick so we can get onto the show. Okay, guys, I'm going to list off a bunch of flavors here. They're all different. Okay, and you just put in the chat really quick. Okay, here we go. Phaseberry, sour cherry, blood orange, strawberry shortcake, watermelon, tropical rain, peach mango, cherry limeade. That sounds cool. Fruit punch, peach iced tea, green apple, kiwi strawberry. Okay. Actually, sorry guys, I already narrowed it down. I narrowed it down to 3 already. This is how excited I am. Okay, I've narrowed it down to 3. Okay, sour cherry, cherry limeade, strawberry shortcake. Again, cherry limeade, sour cherry, or strawberry shortcake. You tell me which one I should have. Anyway. Yes. You guys let me know, and I'll mix it up. Well, Jason, what are we talking about? Are we going to still wait for people? It's only been 6 minutes.
Yeah, we can wait for a couple of minutes. We can
Okay.
wait for a couple of minutes. Like I've got the intro. I can
Show everybody your play button. For the people that may have not been here last night.
Ooh, it's so shiny and nice. Well, too shiny. Too shiny.
I like the
See?
first picture I took of you. You can see my reflection in it. It's kind of like an omen to what's going to happen.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, guys, I made a decision, and I'm not basing this on anything in the chat. I'm going to go with
Zach always gives the people what they want.
Actually, I'm going to go strawberry shortcake. I see a different strawberry shortcake, strawberry shortcake, strawberry shortcake. I'm going to go with strawberry shortake. Strawberry shortcake. Okay, strawberry shortake.
That sounds awful.
It does. It sounds.
I'm just going to go on the
inside the Ultimate Warrior G Fuel cup that I haven't even cleaned yet. Smells like awesome. It's got this weird thing in it. Okay, here we go.
Are you using Genosis? Are you using
tonight? So this is cool, right? I'm fine with that. What?
Genosis says he's at a McDonald's on his iPhone SE right now.
He's at a McDonald's?
That sounds really depressing.
Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it smells good, man.
So this is the time when I'll say things like, hey, if you want to come back and check out this podcast, then you can do so by clicking on the subscribe button in your podcast player of preference. If you give us some rating, that will always help us as well. One of these days, I'm going to do all these things in the order that they need to be done. I guess I should make some sort of list of what I should be doing. But yeah, if you want to check me, if you want to follow me on the Twitter, you can find me at Jason T. Lewis PHT. If you want to find Zach on the Twitter, you can find Zach at Zach Talks Tech, ZAK or ZAK for the Canadians among you, and ZAK Talks Tech, TEK or TECH. Yeah.
All right.
So
I've got it in there. I don't have anything to stir it with. This is a shaker, so I should be able to shake this. Oh. Okay. Want to get high? Okay, here we go. You guys hear that? AMSR people, or what do we call them?
I don't know how ASMR that is.
Just get really close to the microphone like this.
Yeah.
Really softly.
I want to start an ASMR channel where I just get really close to the mic and I say things. And then after about, like 2 minutes, I start screaming as loud as I can.
Let's see how this tastes.
I don't think it's
That's good.
Your
That's good.
face said differently.
Oh, my face said differently?
Yeah, your face was
good.
like.
No, it's like sour. It's like, woo! I like sour stuff. That was good. Apparently this stuff is packed full of antioxidants and there's zero sugar. I did my research on it. And, if you're gonna do any type of energy stuff, this is it right here. So you got me, G Fuel, even though you're not sponsoring me. Yet.
So Juan Contreras has a question, and it's a good question. And some of you might have been wondering, why haven't I been posting the podcast as a podcast on the places where podcasts can be found? Honestly, like I've been an audio engineer for many, many years. I have no problem with editing audio. I just don't have the time. Like when we go 3 hours and I have to find a way to cut down 3 hours to like 1 hour, then it's really hard. So if there are any budding podcast audio engineers out there who might want to help us out, that's something that can be done. As long as you're not crazy. Which usually you don't find out until too late. But yeah, so if anybody's interested in helping us out with podcast editing, that would be awesome because I can't do it. So Saad Hussein says he thinks he's hacked. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, I know we could just do a 1 hour podcast, but this is the problem. We always just sort of lose track of what we're talking about.
But
we're going to stay on topic tonight. Stay on target.
Stay on target.
target.
Stay on target.
Yep.
Star Wars reference.
Tech Rant. Hey, I like the name change. Tech Rant. Tech Rant Live is a good name for your channel.
Hey, I'm like 4 followers from hitting 1,000 on Twitter.
That's good. If you haven't followed Zach on Twitter and you want to be his 1,000th, this might be your chance.
Yeah.
Zach Talks Tech. Z-A-K Talks Tech at the Twitter.
Yeah.
Over there in the Twitter space. Yeah. So we're going to talk about 3 stories this evening.
I might actually hit 3,000 subscribers tonight too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Zach, don't talk about, we've heard enough about you and your recent successes.
I'm sorry. I'm just happy.
Joking.
It's your fault. You helped me.
I know. I'm so giving of my time and energy.
Okay, so what are you talking about? Let's go.
So we've got these 3 stories. One is Samsung seems to be on the verge of releasing or announcing or something this foldable phone that they've been talking about for 5 years. So we'll talk about that. That's sort of our big lead story. Well, it's not our lead story, but it's our big story. If it were our lead story, we would talk about it first, but we're not going to, because we also got stories to talk about. OnePlus 6T the specs have been leaked. Oh boy, excuse me. That one jumped out. I'm leaving that in the podcast.
That was awesome.
So the specs of the OnePlus 6T have been leaked, and we're going to talk about that. And then Apple has filed for a new patent for, I guess, smart bands for the Apple Watch, which is taking us closer and closer to like the communicator wristband thing that we've
cool.
always wanted to have. So that, and that was the first one that I was going to talk about. Basically, is this this smart watch band that they're working on. So I guess the latest patent focuses on watch bands with LED indicators, and this article shows a little picture of like the rings on the band. I mean, it's not real, but they're anyway. But yeah, they filed the patent, and the patent says it's indicators for wearable electronic devices.
Okay.
And it looks like basically they've outlined a bunch of different ways that it can have like LED, blah, blah, blah. This is one of those things where it's starting to become. Has anybody either read the book The Circle or watched the movie? Which the movie wasn't as good as the book. The book was pretty good, but they had this like Identa band that does health and everything else. So it's going to be pretty interesting because this is where we start to get into Star Trek territory.
I'm more of a Star Wars person, but I can.
Well, Star Wars never had like the integrated tech the way that Star Trek did.
Well, I mean, it was a movie where Star Trek was just like every week, right? So they could develop this stuff, and I mean, I like both actually. Were you an original Trekkie fan, or Next Generation, or both, or movie, or what?
Do people still prefer Trekor as opposed to Trekkie?
I've heard Trekkie and Trekkie, I think.
I've heard Trekor was so TREKKOR was the preferred nomenclature at one time. But I of course I watched the original series, not originally because I wasn't born yet, but on TV when it would come on. And then I became a really big Star Wars Next Generation fan.
Yeah. Wait.
So
Star Wars Next Generation?
Star Trek.
Are you trying to trigger a bunch of nerds in here? What's wrong with you?
I'm just confused. I got like 4 hours of sleep, and it's Zach's fault. So yeah, this is Star Trek level stuff, like communicator on the wrist kind of things. And the more this gets, so here's my take. The more this gets,
have you got a door open or something?
Yeah, my wife decides to come in through the other garage door. Makes it cold in here. I've got to put a
I'm podcasting, woman. Get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta put a door. There's a door that's already like the frame is already hung. There's no door in it. I gotta get a door.
You bought a house without doors? What's wrong with you, man? What kind of real estate agent did you have?
In this studio, between the two garage stalls. So if my studio is a garage, stay on target. Yes, thank you, Tech Rant. Anyway,
we went from tech to Star Trek to doors.
well, because it's cold in here, and my wife was just making noise when I was trying to be podcasty. So this could just be really interesting.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm looking at it right now.
There's no timeline, I guess, for when it might show up, but Apple has been throwing some Apple Watch type patents together over the past couple of years, and yeah. So I mean, I think that the Apple Watch is probably becoming the most impressive piece of technology that's available, at least in the mobile space right now. That's the way I feel.
In my opinion, it was the star of the keynote this year.
Yeah, I
decided that I'm going to get one after I get my 10R.
Yeah, I'm getting one as well. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to get a 10R when it comes out this week, because I've got 3 phones sitting here, and a 4th would feel ridiculous. But you know how it is. Okay. You've got like a million phones. So anyway,
I have to do this. I have to. Oh, nobody can see this, but if it happens, I'm going to cut to it right away. I'm going to bring up the live counter for Social Blade.
Oh.
When it turns over 3,000.
Okay.
And hopefully we can show the people.
Yeah, well, we can't show our podcast listeners.
Well, I know that. You know what I mean?
So, I don't know. What do you think, Zach? I mean, I agree with you that the Apple Watch was the best piece of tech that they released at this most recent keynote.
I agree.
And now we're seeing, what could be coming with smart bands, et cetera, et cetera. I think that the Apple Watch stands a good chance of replacing the iPhone.
What?
Yeah.
Not having a device?
You would have a device. You would have AirPods.
Oh yeah, I can get AirPods now and look like a complete, whatever with the toothbrushes out of my ear. I can't wait to do that.
AirPods are fine. They don't look that bad. They don't sound that bad. They're generally non-offensive in all ways.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about Apple Watch technology, especially now that I'm reading some of this stuff. I want to get a 4. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So I have the Gear, the Samsung Gear.
Yeah.
The 46, right? And it
it's
does
not
a lot
the Gear, it's the Galaxy Watch.
The Galaxy Watch.
Yes.
It does a lot of things that the Apple does, but there's also a lot of things that it doesn't do that the Apple Watch does. There's a lot of differences. I mean, I've only been using it basically to clear notifications, watch my heart rate. Like right now, I'm at a steady 109, which is probably not good.
That's not good at all.
I'm sitting here. It's 109.
Yeah.
Right? No, seriously.
That's not good.
I don't know how accurate it is because I take it off and it says like 120 and I'm like, I'm not wearing you.
Yeah, you're almost double what the resting heart rate is suggested.
Yeah, it's like 65 or 75 or something like that. Yeah,
60, anyway. 70, something.
But I'm a big guy. I think that's not. I mean, if I have a heart attack, I think it's meant to be. Anyway, so
well, yeah, but I mean, you got kids, dude.
I know it. I know. I love them. Anyway, and I love your face too. So I use this for notifications, clearing out. I haven't really deep dived into like apps and anything like that. I'm getting about 5.5 days of power on this before, like by the 5th and half day, I'm hitting 19, 15%. I'm like, maybe I should plug this in. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with this. Can I do everything that I like to do on my phone? No, because the screen is so dang small.
Right.
So I don't understand where you're going with this whole watch can replace an iPhone.
Holograms, dude.
Oh yeah, like kind of like Minority Report, whatever it is. Like,
yes, that movie was awesome. That movie was way ahead of its time.
Minority Report is an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, that's your movie. We used to do this all the time. We're gonna do it right now.
Movie for this week. If you haven't watched it, Minority
this week.
Report,
Yeah,
starring
don't watch-
Tom Cruise.
Don't watch that crappy television show. Yeah, Tom Cruise, man.
It's based on a Philip K. Dick story.
It sure is.
Philip K. Dick,
My favorite Dick right there.
amazing proto sci-fi writer. I mean, he's like one of the grandfathers of modern sci-fi. Wrote the book that Blade Runner was based on, although the book is nothing like the movie. Blade Runner, my favorite movie. So
don't congrats me yet, guys. Still got a ways to go.
Yeah. I got the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2048.
Did it look that good when you cleaned it up? Did it look that good?
I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't watched it yet.
I got it like 6 months ago, but I haven't hardly had time to watch anything. So
look at this stupid comment, man. I joke, and like I make a little joke, and someone gets offended. Great, go away, Snowflake. Bye.
Who's talking about dicks?
I don't know, because I said that was my favorite dick. I was joking around.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know so your joke was bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it deserves an unsub. So, but yeah. So if you haven't read any Philip K. Dick, I highly recommend it.
I'm sorry, that word's funny.
All right. I have a 12-year-old co-host.
You do. You just figuring this out now? Mm-hmm. I'm not 38 years old. I act as old as I feel. And today, that's how I feel.
Yeah, today I feel I'm freaking 69 or even older.
69. Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. I bring on the Wristicator. That's what I'm going to call it, even though they'll call it the.
Gino says, "Be good."
Yeah, let's keep it clean in the chat, people. Okay, keep it clean. This is a family podcast. Not really, but so the next story we got though. Let's keep on keeping on. The next story that we have is OnePlus T specs have been leaked. And
I thought we pretty much knew them before anyway. Like, I think it's a no-brainer that they're going to use a Snapdragon 845, like everybody else has. So,
well, there's no Snapdragon 855.
Well, I mean, yeah.
So they pretty much have to. But as we all know, the Snapdragon 845. See, this is the thing. I don't really like speed tests where like a YouTuber will sit there and like tap an app with a finger and see how fast it opens up. I mean, talk about completely unscientific. It's like, okay, you're touching.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think those speed tests are not a good measure of performance.
It's not like a real world thing. So you know who does a really good in the day of like real world thing is Judner at that Your Average Consumer.
Right. Yeah.
I really enjoy those vlogs that he does, and
exactly.
I'll be doing some of those with the 10R.
So yeah. Anyway, the 845 in those artificial tests absolutely gets smoked by the A12 Bionic in the Apple phones. In fact, it gets smoked by the A11 Bionic as well. But having two Android phones that I've been using pretty regularly here, and then with 845s and then the iPhone, a lot of it has to do how fast it feels has to do with how fast the animations are coded. So Apple, they don't have super fast animations to go from one thing to the next, but it's very fluid. It feels very natural, right? I mean, and the OnePlus. Or not the one. I'm sorry. The Pixel 3 feels very, very snappy.
Yep. It only has what, 4 gigabytes of RAM? You said. I
believe that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
4 gigabytes of RAM.
You're like worried about it? I'm like, no. It's about the software being optimized. If there's any Android out there that's properly optimized with hardware, it's going to be the Pixel. It's going to be the Pixel. Right.
So Genosis asks, is the Pixel 3 RAM management as bad as those speed tests have shown? To be honest, that's not something that I can measure in my daily use. So I don't recognize how many apps have been kept in memory and will open immediately or refresh. The phone is fast enough to refresh without it really being any kind of issue. Back in the day, when Android was definitely clawing its way toward usability, those kinds of things really mattered. But nowadays, Android chips, Apple chips, they're all equally fast, and the Android software has gotten to the point where it doesn't have any of the drawbacks that it used to have. You don't have to use like memory management apps and that kind of stuff. So that's the thing, Genosis. I mean, the apps reload so fast that it's barely noticeable to me. Now, I don't push my phones hard with tons of gaming or anything like that, but these modern smartphones, I mean, everything happens almost instantaneously unless there's a little hiccup, and that happens in both operating systems. So I mean, I will still say that the Pixel 3 has been buggy. Buggy.
Explain some of your bug issues, because I've heard various things here and there. And can you describe some of your issues?
Well, I've had some app freezes.
Really?
I've had some phone freezes where I just have to reset do a soft reset of the phone, which
like a power cycle.
Yeah.
I haven't
the phone is completely unresponsive. Yeah.
I haven't experienced that since the Galaxy S5.
And especially it's not a
wow.
We're partying like it's 2013, 2015. It's like, yeah. So I don't know what's going on. I do know that. Well, I guess somebody told me the other day in another one of these chats that that the final build of the software for this has not happened yet. So, and it's been Jesus Christ. This is your fault, Zach.
What did I do?
I can't speak.
Oh, don't speak. No.
No.
I can't sing. Sorry.
Just not that song.
Oh, you don't like No Doubt?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. No Doubt.
No.
Cheers.
I don't want to talk about it. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going on. I'm pretending that we're not getting off the topic here. Okay, so yeah, those are the problems that I've had. It has just been a little bit weird sometimes, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
I did a test today. You folks tell me if you're interested in this test. Before we went live on the podcast, I had some extra time, and I decided to set up the iPhone XS Max as like a one camera, and the Pixel 3 XL as the main camera, and I recorded myself singing a song that is mine, because if it's mine, I won't get copyright.
Ooh, are you gonna play it for us?
Well, I mean, I've got the video.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking I can put the video up, and we can A/B back and forth. In the edit, I can A/B back and forth between the two.
Okay.
So yeah, but just listening, I mean, I've listened to examples of what people are calling this hiss thing, and
I think it does. I don't hear a hiss. I hear an overly sensitive microphone.
No, it's not the microphone. It is actually the compression software that they use. So
okay,
they're crushing so that there's not overloads, but that's raising the noise threshold.
Okay.
So anytime you use compression, like you can introduce noise by just cranking up the compression. So they need to go into the software and adjust the ratio so that it's not creating a noise floor. That's basically what we're seeing, is that it has a noise floor that's way above where it should be.
Okay.
So I watched a video earlier where somebody went from the AR camera to the regular camera, and the AR camera didn't have that super aggressive compression on it. So I don't know. It's something that can easily be fixed in a software update, and it's not a DAC issue. It's just software. So if Google chooses to do so, they could fix it pretty easily, I would imagine. Well, see, it sounds like, so Scott Aarons, it sounds like the noise canceling is off, but in fact, the compression is creating something that sounds like, if you were listening to a cassette back in the 80s, right? And you hit the Dolby button, it would cut off that it's like a 10K.
Yeah,
hiss.
like to me that I don't like. Maybe I'm using the wrong wording, but it just seems like an overly sensitive. But you know the actual details of the things because you're the audio guy.
Yeah.
You know who might have some really good insight on that? Podcasted.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, we should ask him.
Totally. Yeah.
So anyway, this is again somewhat off the beaten path of what we were talking about. We started talking about the A45, and then that got us to talking about other phones. But I've got this video. I'm gonna cut it together. It doesn't sound good. I mean, I'm recording myself singing and playing on a smartphone, and it doesn't sound all that great. But and I haven't played for a while, so my hands are like, I've got sausage fingers. Sausage fingers are not good for guitar playing, is what I'm saying.
Are these sausage fingers?
Sure.
No, they are. No, maybe.
I just know, like, I haven't sat down and played guitar on a regular basis for a while, and when you're not playing on a regular basis, your fingers just feel not limber enough to do the things that you want them to do. So that's anyway. Yep. Anyway, it's a subpar performance, and it sounds subpar, but it will be a comparison between the mic on the Pixel 3 XL and the mic on the iPhone XS Max.
Do you think it's dangerous to drink like 2 of these?
I wouldn't drink 2 of those. No, I wouldn't. I think it's like when going swimming after eating. Like wait a half an hour to an hour and then see if you haven't lost your mind. So anyway, back to the OnePlus 6T.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Despite everything they've been going through, all the crap they've been getting and getting crapped on by Apple and everything, I'm still looking forward to the phone because I'm a OnePlus 6 fan. Well,
I mean, OnePlus is going to sell their phones regardless of what, if Apple stepped on their event or not. OnePlus is still going to sell their phones. I know that OnePlus might want to win over a lot of Apple customers.
You got to hear the warning that's on here. I should have read this first.
So I think that OnePlus would love to win over Apple customers, but I don't think there are going to be many Apple customers jumping ship for the OnePlus on T-Mobile.
I mean, if you're price sensitive and you can go to Android with no issues, and you're not going to be dependent on an ecosystem or messaging or iMessage or anything like that, I think a OnePlus is a great way to go. But I think 99.9% of those Apple customers would rather go to like a Samsung or something like that.
Yeah. Although, I mean, there's objectively...
Michael says it perfectly. Michael Dearling here. OnePlus is a champion in its price range. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally. You get 90% of what the big boys are putting in their phones for 50% of the price. I think it was Marquez that said that best.
Yeah. So what we've got on this thing, and I guess it's for this 128 gigabyte variant, is 8 gigabytes of RAM.
They had 8 in the last one, so that doesn't surprise me.
6.4-inch AMOLED screen, 1080 resolution, which is fine. And it says here that it's going to have a 3,700 milliamp hour battery instead of a 3,300 milliamp hour battery that the 6 had.
3,700?
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean,
well, I mean, if you're running, okay, it's an OLED screen. I don't know how they fare.
but do you remember how I said that there's something magical about an Android having a 4,000 milliamp battery, and that I've had nothing but successful Androids this year that have 4,000 milliamp batteries. That includes the Huawei P20 Pro.
Yeah,
this is you said 3,900,
37.
So it's pretty darn close.
It's close, and if the screen is 1080.
Yeah.
Then there shouldn't be any real issues with like the screen overdrawing power.
Yep.
So beyond that, we've got 845 as we discussed, USB-C, dual SIM capability, 16 megapixel and 20 megapixel rear facing dual cameras.
Do you really see megapixel like John Prosser does?
I think I said it before.
You think you said it first?
I've been saying it for a while. So
okay,
then
we'll go with that.
The front-facing camera is also 16 megapixels. I don't want to, whatever.
Gatorade.
It's going to launch with 8.1 Oreo, which
yep.
The price here, it says it's going to retail.
Wait. It's going to launch with Oreo and not Pie?
That's the device will ship with Android Oreo 8.1.
Okay. So because OnePlus has been working really well. Well, they've been working very closely with Google. So I bet you, in order to roll devices out in time, they went with that. And I bet you anything within a month, they'll roll out Pie for everybody. So yeah, they will. They'll because you can already get beta on everything else.
Do you hear that the Note 9 is getting Android Pie?
When?
Next year.
Who gives a flying? By that time, my phone will be gone. I'll be on the Galaxy S10.
Yeah, well, no, I mean it's going to be first quarter next year. The S10 won't be out until second quarter. But you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it's going to retail for 580 euros, which according to this article in The Verge, I have to give credit because I'm just basically reading all the things from their article. That is $665 in the current conversion rates. That's USD. So
this is the OnePlus still?
Yeah, $665 is not the budget champion that it once was.
Where do you see the price point? Oh, there's a 665. Because what was the last one? 530?
In that ballpark, yeah.
Yeah, 500. So yeah, the conversion to Canadian is going to be just under 1,000, everything like that, whatever. Here's what I don't like about that.
Just one thing?
Well, I mean, let me just go on a little rant here. You took out a headphone jack that everybody really liked. Now, call me old, whatever. I think if you have a headphone jack in your device nowadays, you are at an advantage because you're still offering something that a lot of people still use. Juan Bagnell from Some Gadget Guy.
Yep.
I hope I said his last name properly. I always get it messed up. He had a really good thing about this. He did. So they take out the headphone jack. They put in this in-display fingerprint sensor.
Right.
And they still don't have wireless charging. It just seems like they're cutting and cutting to put in a cool feature. I would have rather seen them keep the fingerprint sensor on the back and then just kind of clean it up and everything.
Yeah, I don't really.
But here's the thing: like they're owned by the same people that also own Vivo,
right?
And I have the Vivo Nex S, as you know,
yes,
which has an in-display front-facing fingerprint sensor, and it has a headphone jack, and it has a 4,000 milliamp battery.
Yeah,
right, and it has a pop-up camera. So that being said.
But it's also not available in the U.S.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, I mean, it's there, but amongst the companies,
yeah,
they could have basically cloned that.
What does the Vivo Nex retail for? Like, what would it retail for in the United States?
I bought it for $12.95 Canadian, so that would have been.
So that's $200 more expensive than this one. Plus, so maybe that's where they justify.
The point I'm trying to make, look past price. The point I'm trying to say is that company, yes, Vivo and OnePlus are separate companies, but they're both owned by B&K Electronics. The point I'm trying to make is that they both have access to that technology and be able to do it all together. Vivo shows that, okay, even though they have terrible software, terrible camera, everything like that. OnePlus had access to that, except they made these concessions. Now the Vivo did not have wireless charging. Okay, fine, whatever.
Right.
And I guess in such a way you could also say, you know what? Well, the OnePlus 6 didn't have wireless charging, and the OnePlus 6 didn't have an IP rating. So okay, fine, we'll overlook that. But you took out the headphone jack. That phone at that price point giving you a headphone jack. The only other company that was doing that with a kick-ass phone was Samsung.
LG
and LG. Yeah, let's not forget LG, little old LG with their DAC, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Which
I hate seeing these concessions, right?
Yeah.
So I just
well, I mean, one person's concession might be another person's.
they're settling. You know,
they're trying to. Well, they're not settling. I think they're trying to expand their profit margin.
Well, yeah.
So
by bringing in a cool feature, they could have kept the headphone jack in there. You know what? Keep the headphone jack. Do your in-display thing. Don't give me wireless charging. I said it in one of my last videos. You know, going in 2019, I'm going to be looking for wireless charging because for a convenience thing and everything like that. But that being said, I could say, okay, no problem if you have an in-display and everything like that. Although we know that it can all be put together, it can be done, and Samsung will prove that with the Galaxy S10. So it just seems like they're settling.
To me, like, okay, so I can understand why OnePlus wants to have the in-display fingerprint reader for this phone. This is the first OnePlus phone that is going to be available on a U.S. carrier. So, you know, people can walk into a T-Mobile store, get a OnePlus 6T. It's got the differentiating factor of being the first phone on a U.S. carrier with that in-display fingerprint. And if they do the marketing right, they'll sell some phones, right? But for those of us who are familiar with OnePlus up to this point, we look at what they're doing and we recognize that they are inflating the price. Now, maybe that's to do with something about having that partnership with T-Mobile and T-Mobile having to take their cut. I don't know. I'm not an accountant for either company. But yeah, I mean, whereas 2 years ago, OnePlus phones were amazing at $500. Now this phone, while it has some of the right specs and some of the right places,
but the specs,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's they've sacrificed some things that people really appreciated for in that phone for, I don't know, one splashy feature that after 3 weeks nobody's going to care.
You know, the in-display fingerprint sensor is cool and everything because it offers a complete screen. The back can be clean. It just it's nice. I mean, this is natural for me to grab the phone and like unlock like this. I do also have the face unlock on here, which works quite well. I don't use the iris, but going back to like the Vivo, for example, and holding the phone like this and being able to go like that, like that's still a cool experience, right?
Right.
And it's a cool experience to see people's reaction about you. But like, yeah, like you said, after about 2 or 3 weeks, okay, it's still just another phone, right?
So one thing that's been annoying me about carrying the Pixel 3 XL,
the pickle, okay,
the pickle. So when I get in my car, I have like a suction cup dash mount thingy, right? And so I stick it in there so I can see the screen, etc., etc. No facial recognition on the Pixel 3 whatsoever for reasons unknown to me, and I can't open the phone without putting in the password.
Yeah,
because I can't do a reach around and get that.
Everything you just said, if you were to splice up everything you said, it could be a total dirty sentence. I put it in and the reach around.
Well, it's true. It's true. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but that's what I mean. I'm just gonna say, okay, I use the Samsung like intelligent scan, and that works about 50 or 60% of the time when I'm in the car and I need to open up my phone. Face ID works 100% of the time. All I have to do, if the screen's not awake, all I have to do is tap the screen. It'll wake up. It'll unlock, swipe, and I'm in. So the OnePlus is going to have, I guess in that use case, the OnePlus will have the advantage of having that in-screen fingerprint thing. But I still am firmly of the belief that the fingerprint reader is just like it's obsolete, and it just hasn't been phased out entirely yet.
Yeah.
I mean the facial recognition stuff, Face ID, all that kind of stuff. So many benefits and so many different use cases, whether it's opening the phone or putting in passwords or whatever. Apple's got it on lock, as they say right now. It works really great. It could be a little faster. And I think everybody else is chasing to catch up. And anybody who's using fingerprint reader right now is just marking time until they can get something else.
Yeah.
So the in-display fingerprint reader is a gimmick. And
well, it's not a gimmick, but I mean, it allows for a clean back of the phone. Let's be really clear here. And this is something that people need to realize with the technology that Vivo and most likely what OnePlus is using. It is a technology from Synaptics called the in-display in-display clear ID fingerprint sensor. I believe is what's called the official name. Okay. Right. In-display fingerprint sensor is what's known within the industry. Some tech YouTubers will call it the under glass fingerprint sensor, and I think they're using that so that they have that search term on YouTube. I think they're really going hard with that. Some of the bigger guys. I will call it what's called, which is in display. Anyway, the point is this, guys. It is an optical reader. Okay, it's made by Synaptics. It's optical, which means it's looking. It's not actually processing what's on there. Okay, in other words, it can be faked. Okay, someone could come along with and then put it on there. You do have to push down a little bit to kind of flatten your finger. The screen will light up your ridges and everything like that, and it matches up and boom, right? So whereas the Samsung version, the ultrasonic is a lot more secure. Okay, so with the OnePlus and the Vivo version, and again, I'm assuming that OnePlus is using the Synaptics. I can't see why they wouldn't be using a different technology. It can be faked. Okay, so it's not as secure as even a password.
Right.
If you want to get really, if you're paranoid, if you're all tinfoil hat and everything, right?
Yeah. So, well, who's not these days?
I mean, I have mine back here.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have to admit that I was holding out hope that this 6T was going to have something special that was going to make me really excited. And I mean, on paper, the improvements that it makes over the OnePlus 6 are definitely recognized and definitely welcome. But removing the headphone jack, et cetera,
yeah,
it's disappointing, and I'm anxious to see how many of the OnePlus faithful are willing to pay almost $700 for a OnePlus phone.
Well, you know what? The OnePlus fan base is awesome. Really is a really great, brotherhood or sisterhood or peoplehood or whatever you want to call it of people. You go into the forums there and they're passionate and everything. Yeah. And there's people over there that have been there from the start, from the days of the OnePlus One. Side story. I had a OnePlus One. I was one of those people that was begging for an invite, and I got it, and I got the phone. Okay.
Right.
I got my OnePlus One a week before my daughter was born. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I hadn't finished setting it up. A week later, after I get the phone, my daughter's born. I take a bunch of pictures. The first week, we're new parents. The daughter, love her. My daughter.
Right. Yes.
And 10 days after she was born, we were sitting at dinner. And you know me, I'm very careful with my devices. Like, honestly, if anybody's going to buy a device from me, it's going to be, like, it'll still smell brand new.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I look over and I see the OnePlus. It's like sitting there, and it turns off. I looked over just as it turned off. I'm like, that's weird. Turned back on. Then it turned off. And it turned back on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I held on the power I tried boot loop, and it died. I went on the OnePlus forums. I begged for help. I could not get any help from anybody. I finally got a hold of a senior technician. He's like, take it to this place where you live, and they can hopefully crack into it and everything. I took it to a data recovery place. They could see there was 4 or 5 gigabytes of photos on there. Android KitKat was locked down so hard that they could take the data off, but you could never read it.
Right.
In other words, I lost the first 10 days of photos of my daughter. The only photos we were able to recover were the ones that my wife took, and she took next to no photos. And the ones that I shared out to friends and family and everything. And you know what? Those are the best photos, but there was some stuff in the delivery room and things like that that would have been obviously kept private and everything. And you know, it's not like I was right in there between the legs, right? But
okay.
I'm trying not to get too serious here, guys. But I lost that, and I was so upset. Yeah, you know, Gino says I didn't have Google Photos turned on. I didn't have Dropbox. I was really stupid to that kind of stuff. I didn't set it up.
Well, back in the day, I mean,
yeah, I lost those photos, but you know, and I was so angry at OnePlus, so angry. And then they reached out to me when the 3 came out. I think the 3T or something like that. They actually sent me an email saying, "Hey, Zach, we know you went through some stuff. Would you be interested in checking out our 3T?" And I'm like, you know, that's cool. Don't worry about it. I've got this Nexus thing now and everything. I'll get back to you guys. And then the 5T came out. So a couple, like a year later, or a couple years later. And now I'm back with them because I see that they've made the strides in customer service and in technical help. Like I purposely looked and I said, you know, if somebody else ever had this problem, would they go the distance? And the funny thing is, I've been told that they still have my device because I sent it back to them. They gave me a full refund.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really cool if a technician there just one day decided just to mess around with it and got those photos back. God, that would just be so amazing.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's the man. Yeah, but that's my history with them. But I respect how they've grown up since then, because back when that happened to me, nobody gave a fuck. So excuse the language. But,
yeah, so the thing that's going to be interesting to me when this phone releases, and it does show up in a U.S. carrier store at this price, will it have lost its one killer feature, which is that it's a great phone for close to $500?
Mm-hmm.
Because now you could make the argument that, well, if I'm going to pay $700 for the OnePlus, then $750 for the iPhone XR is not unreasonable to get to. You know what I mean?
You know, it's kind of funny. I think people need to realize that the XR is in this unique spot to compete with things like the OnePlus, because Apple realizes there's a market of people that want top of line specs but not have to give up a kidney. Okay, and that's why I went with the XR, so I can test that single shooter against the Nexus if I ever get it. I got a bunch of emails today saying the delivery date of my stuff's been pushed back. Gee, I wonder why you gave all your phones to freaking people for free. But anyway, whatever.
Well, I did watch iJustine's video that had a lot of camera comparisons, and the XR camera did look really good in most cases, but it clearly wasn't as good as the XS Max.
Yeah.
There was just that little bit of extra special sauce in all the photos that were taken with the XS Max that just weren't quite there for the XR. If you weren't comparing photos, then you wouldn't know the difference probably. But yeah, so Renee Ritchie does have a new, it's like 26-minute long review of the XR.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it after this. I wanted to watch it this morning, but I was like, gotta get this video out.
I don't want to watch 26-minute long exhaustive videos about a phone that doesn't exist in my hands.
It was our friend Flossie that did an hour-long review of the Note.
Yeah, but that was after the Note was available.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so I don't like this pattern of, you know, a select number of big-time YouTubers getting these phones.
TLD got the blue. Justine got the coral.
Right.
Marquez got the red.
Right.
And it was kind of cool. It was. I mean, if you look at the descriptions, everything that they all were given the phones, they have to get that kind of thing, right? So you know, I watched Jonathan's because I'm a supporter of his, as you know, and everything like that, right? And you know, I watched a little bit of iJustine's because I really wanted to see that coral. And I'm seriously on the fence. I think when I film my video on Friday, I'm gonna flip a coin. I really do. I think I'm gonna flip a coin.
Yeah, I don't know.
That red looks sick, but everybody's gonna get the red, and I don't want to get the same thing as everybody else.
Well, I just want, it's the color that I like best. I mean, that blue, at least in the photographs, looks too similar to the 5C blue. The yellow looks too similar to the 5C
You hate
yellow.
the 5C. Hey, you just hate that phone, don't you?
I didn't hate it. I thought it was a great idea. But like, if you're going to make a budget phone, if you're going to make a phone that's going to try and cut into these mid-tier markets, then actually do it. Don't like say, oh, we've made a $750 phone. It's not, because that's not budget. And, basically Apple is relying on the fact that companies like OnePlus are going to have to continue to raise their prices. And the mid-tier might just disappear, and Apple will be positioned with a phone that's just close enough that people can choose Apple.
I'm excited. I've also decided that I'm going to do a weekly update of my experience with the 10R. Like I'll publish something every Sunday or something like that, saying this is my week's experience, and it could be something as simple like a 1 minute thing saying, no problems this week, everything was fine, and then it could be something as long as I had these issues. Oh, and by the way, for those people that are following, I am going to get a SIM for that phone. I've already talked to my provider. I'm getting the exact same line and the details I have, so I'm going all the way with it.
All the way.
Going all the way, and actually that was going to be in my video on Thursday.
Going all the way. So
all the way.
Here's a question. Yeah. How long do you think it's going to be before you get to like what week will it be where you just are like, well, it's an iPhone?
I think after probably 7 days.
I've said that before in videos, and people are like, well, the thing is, like, that's both praise and a certain amount of criticism. The fact that it's an iPhone is the reason iPhone won for all the years up until Android started to be a serious competitor, because it was more reliable and the phones didn't die, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, for a lot of people, they might not remember how terrible Android was in the early days. Like, just you felt like you were using a phone that like some kid in his bedroom built the operating system, and they were beta testing it on hundreds of thousands of people around the world. So like KitKat was the last of those versions of Android that were really not quite ready for prime time, and it's gotten better since then. But Apple was successful because the software experience on that phone was, by and large, reliable from day one. And yes, I'm sure people can point out examples of like when it didn't do this or when it didn't do that, but for the most part, the Apple iPhone experience is much the same today as it was in 2010 or 2007 is when it first came out, right? So yes, they've updated the look of it and everything else, but that's why Apple won back in the day. And the competition has gotten closer. I just think that I don't know if it's like a collective learned behavior that keeps people on Apple and not taking chances on Android phones.
I think it's just a matter of what you know and what you're comfortable with. And, like I like Android because I like how there's a difference between all of them, but at the same time, that's one of the things that brings them down. I like the physical differences. So, for example, when I pick up a Huawei P20 Pro, it's very much different and feels different than using a Galaxy Note 9. I like picking up a OnePlus 6 and seeing how it differs from my Razer phone. Right. I'm excited about the new Razer phone. I mean, is it a top line? No, it's not. But I mean, it's going to have awesome speakers. Again, they've improved the camera, RGB lighting on the back. Hell yeah. Like, that's cool, man.
See, but right? and this is the thing that people always point out, and they think they're being really smart when they do it. that's totally interesting to me and to you and to probably everybody who is watching the stream or listening to this podcast. But it's sort of the same thing as like if you're a wine aficionado, you know, you're like, oh, the bouquet of this, and it's totally lost on me. The average person wants to pick up a phone, and I'm not saying average consumer because I think that's insulting.
Oh, the people that drive the market. Okay, the people that drive the market. They like I've talked about this before. They care about messaging, pricing, and does it take a good camera? They need to be able to pick it up. So that's why I do my camera comparisons like that. I don't do settings of this, and I launch the app, I take the photo, I put the phone away, just like anybody else does.
Yeah. So the thing is, the one thing that Apple offered almost from day one was the fact that you could pick up the phone, and it had a graphic user interface where the icons looked like the thing that you wanted. And you would press them, and the thing that you wanted to do would happen, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that they've only improved on that as time has gone on, and that's why the average person, like for the I guess the majority of the average person, even though I know Android sells more phones, but no one company sells more phones than Apple, at least.
Yeah.
And the reason is just being able to pick it up and use it. There's something about it that is very intuitive that I've used Android since the Samsung Captivate, you know, which is the Galaxy S2, I believe. And there's always been like a little bit of a disconnect between me and the device, which some people like and some people don't.
Yeah. Listen to this comment. They're talking about the 10R. The electric blue reminds me of the new Corolla hatchback. Very nice. Though the Coral is pretty amazing. That's awesome. If I get the blue, I'm going to call it electric blue. I didn't get the blue, guys. I got the electric. Look, maybe this is a hint tonight. This hoodie right here.
So honestly,
what a player.
Do you understand though that calling a phone the new Toyota Corolla is like
I know that's the irony, right? The electric blue reminds you of the new Corolla hatchback. Very nice. Although the Coral is pretty amazing.
It's like, come on, dude, it's a Corolla.
This is an epic comment.
That's the car for,
I hearted that totally.
the Corolla is the car for, you know, people under 25.
Yeah.
Who want to buy a new car.
Yeah.
And for like people on a fixed income over 65. You know, that can't afford the Camry anymore. So the Corolla is a good car. Don't get me wrong. I've owned a Corolla.
But my wife had a Corolla and it practically blew up on her.
It's again, the Corolla, all Toyota cars for the most part are really, really boring.
Yeah.
And they do their job well, and they do it reliably, and they do it for a long time, but they ain't sexy.
You know what? A lot of people are kind of saying the yellow looks cool with that yellow and black.
I'm sorry.
No?
It's a banana phone.
Okay. So right there, I'm not going to be getting it now because you called it a banana phone. You just killed it for me. Thank you, buddy.
That's what I'm here for. Banana phone.
Banana phone.
Yeah. I could make the argument that it's like I love the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's not that yellow. It's not the Steelers yellow, bold and sort of whatever. It looks like one of those popsicles that your parents would give you that had fruit juice in it, and you're like, I don't want this. You know, it'd be kind of creamy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my Obi's
going with that, but okay.
The disappointing popsicle, right? The one that had healthy stuff and not chocolate, or like glow in the dark food coloring.
What are you eating?
I'm not eating anything.
I know you're not, but what are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, what's the next? The next story?
The next and final story that we have to talk about today
is
either super exciting. It is Minion yellow, Gabby. That's right. Yeah.
What yellow? What?
Minion.
Minion yellow. There you go. It's not banana. Minion yellow.
But I don't.
Naughty yellow.
I don't want to carry a Minion flavored phone in my pocket.
Why are you eating your phone? How do you know what flavor it is?
Okay.
Okay.
You know
What's
what
the
I'm
next
saying.
story, Jason?
The next story is Samsung teases foldable phone unveiling for November 7th.
Okay, so stop. Foldable phone. I've said this. It sounds cool. I think it can be practical. I think what they're doing here is they're just basically trying to take a tablet and basically put it in your pocket.
Right.
Right? That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if it had an S Pen, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, you know what? And I would probably take. I'll probably pick one up anyway. But I could see it actually being very useful. Rather than carrying around a iPad in your. Well, where do you carry an iPad? In your backpack, right?
Well, it's going to have a 7-inch screen when folded out, and it's going to have that longer aspect ratio, so it won't be like short, tall, and thin. Yes.
From Jess Helmer, excited to be part of the Zach pack. I would say go for the Curl, but that is the one I'm going to try and win from you. Ha ha ha. The blue suits you well, Zach. I found you on YouTube from watching Jason's Painfully Honest Tech channel, and I think you guys are great together. I'm always watching the live feed. You just haven't got. I just haven't gotten on the chat yet. That's from Jess Helmer. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah. So we got this phone. Now, I said in the description of this podcast that it's happening and I have proof. Okay, so proof might be a strong word, but I today received an email from ULAC Case Company.
Okay, yeah, I know. I know them. Yeah,
and or ULAC or however they pronounce it.
Yeah, I know the name. Yeah.
And they had their first thing was like a blog post from their website about this new phone. And so it's interesting. They're kind of corroborating these rumors in saying that like this is what it's going to be. It just was interesting to me that the phone, was sort of rumored that it was going to be released in a couple of weeks. And then I also get this email from a case company about the phone today.
Yeah, they probably have a little bit of information here. This is the Tom's Guide article we're talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I see it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, do I want to go back to a flip phone?
No, that's not what this is, though. It's not like, right? This is, you fold it all the way open, it's all screen, right? So I think,
but if it has two like turtle shell back pieces,
yeah, like I don't have a tablet. I mean, I have a tablet, but it's useless right now, and I kind of refuse to get an iPad. Although now that I'm getting into this, I might get one. But I mean,
it won't let go. It just keeps.
This looks cool because if you're gonna get tablet functionality, that's something I can fold up easily. Like I'm going to CES in January, as you know.
Yeah.
And like, when you go to CES, comfy shoes, have a backpack or a bag you can carry comfortably, not have to one strap. You want to do the two straps so you have both hands. You want to have a drink in there, some food and everything, because the lineups for food suck. Take some power bars with you. If I could have something like that to be productive on rather than carrying my laptop with me and leave the laptop in the safe in the room, cool, right?
Yeah.
Because my MacBook, I'm hesitant to take my MacBook with me because I just like that's everything I'm doing right now is MacBook on here, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the thing is, like, everybody who's talking about this phone is still using an image from a concept video that was released in like 2012 or something.
I noticed that. I like, why is everybody using the same image? Yeah.
But the ULAC, this ULAC thing has a really.
Can you send me a picture? You send me the image. Do you mind?
Let me share. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, share your screen
so that we can see application windows. Let's go. So this is what the new Samsung foldable phone So you see the hinge there,
Uh-huh.
and it's much thinner than this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this looks like your wallet, you know?
It looks cool, man. It looks cool.
So if it looks something like this,
Can you send me that link on the messenger there?
Yeah.
Just so I can document it. That's all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Copy link address. So I mean, if it's something that's more streamlined and more in line with what Samsung has been doing with their other stuff, but moving forward, then that could be really cool.
Hey, do you think we may do you think they're trying to No, that's not silly. Never mind. Go on what you were going to say.
Well, I'm just interested in knowing how thin is it going to be? What kind of resolution is the screen going to have? I mean, these are things that I don't know.
Did they speculate the price? Because I'm seeing in the chat here, and I know that I've heard this too.
$1,500.
Yeah, like close to $2,000. Like it'll be like close to $2,000 Canadian, right? That'd be crazy.
$1,500 is what the rumors have been saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Michael Deering asks, so they're basically consolidating phone and tablet together. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, because the iPhone, the iPhone XS Max is half an inch smaller, and I still wouldn't say that I'm feeling like this is tablet-like, So I'd love to see something that is tablet-like, that can be used as a phone. Yeah, worth it if it doesn't have Bixby, perhaps, but I don't think we're getting away from Bixby anytime soon. The time that this will really work. So let's say that in this discussion that we've just had, Apple's going the direction of like the wrist phone watch thingy, with holograms and such. Let's just speculate that that's the direction they're going. Samsung seems to be going in the direction of like the sort of thin piece of screen that you see in films, like where it can be transparent, and then all of a sudden whatever. So maybe that's our future. Yeah, like I'm thinking of like the tablets that they use in Westworld.
Oh,
for
yeah.
example.
I couldn't make it through the first season.
Well, you have to know. This is an important thing to know that I didn't know until nearly the end. There are 3 separate stories happening at once in 3 different time.
I know. I just found it slow, and I'm like,
Well, I do admit that I gave up on season 2. A little too earnest for me, but I did really enjoy season 1 once I kind of started to see these 3 narratives come together. But again, okay, so but we're not talking about Westworld, except for the tablets that maybe this Samsung phone is a precursor to, because that would be really interesting. The one thing that's true and almost like non-arguable is that smartphone hardware is pretty boring. Yeah, and there's not much headroom left for what to do with it in the current form factors.
2019 is all about, like, okay, I've said this before. 2019 is all about in-display fingerprint sensors from all the Androids, okay, and the software game.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I think all the Androids could put 845 processors and 6 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of RAM in their devices going into 2019. It's very similar to what we had this year, and everything will be fine. But it's all about in-display fingerprint sensor this year. If this was the year of the notch, 2019 will be the year of in-display or under glass fingerprint sensors and software optimization.
Interesting.
Okay. You'll see, I think we're going to see a real push from OEMs, including Samsung and LG, saying we have taken this off. We've and I've talked about this before, starting from the Galaxy S6 going forward to now to the 9 and now the Note 9. I have seen Samsung getting better and better and less sluggish, and it's good. People that say, "Oh, it's TouchWiz and it's slow and everything," you're stupid and you haven't used one. Okay, you're being silly. No, I'm sorry, you're not stupid. You're being silly. Okay, it's not as bad as it used to be.
Perhaps speaking from a position of non-education, because
yeah, well, there you go.
The Samsung experience is wildly better.
It is
than anything that was ever called TouchWiz.
Yeah. TouchWiz is dead. It's called Samsung Experience. So it is wildly better than it ever has been. Samsung's very close to having that full-on optimization to have their software and hardware working so well together. Now, if they could dump Android all together and go Tizen, say what you will about Tizen. Tizen's awesome. I love it on the watch. Yeah. I think we'll see a real push by OEMs to say, here's our in-display, or here's how we've optimized to make it better, a cleaner experience. I've said this before, the Huawei P20 Pro, awesome camera, okay? Awesome build, terrible UI, absolutely terrible UI. I had to put Nova on there. I don't want to have to put a different launcher on. Nobody should ever have to put a separate launcher on. Terrible. Yeah. Awesome camera, though. Freaking awesome. Right? So
yeah. And so Daniel Fisher brings up Bixby, saying that Bixby is his. I just said Bixby in my Note 9. Woke up. Never does it when I want it to.
She does it now. That's silly bitch.
Ultimately, like, I think there's a possible future for Bixby. I made a video when Samsung announced the Note 9 that they're building an ecosystem with Bixby as sort of like the neural network that will connect everything together. Whether or not they're successful at doing that is another thing entirely. But here's my question for folks who are out there listening or watching. Like, would you buy a foldable phone if it wasn't like, you know, your grandfather's wallet size? That's my question. Like, if it was, was comparably thin.
Here is a power pack that I've been using lately. It's quite on the thick side, but it's very
right.
Like I can hold it in my hand easily. Imagine if this unfolded like this. Like imagine if it unfolded like this. Whoop, right? That's cool. Right?
I think most people wouldn't want to carry that around.
I mean, I did it at the Vid Summit, and that was awesome. Oh, we're going to talk about Vid Summit later on. Well, that's how we'll wrap things up.
Yeah. So, I would be so basically. I think that what's going to happen is whatever Samsung debuts on November 7th will be a really polished prototype.
Yeah. It'll definitely be like the Vivo, where it's not just for, like, it's not for every consumer. It's definitely like this is the first time someone's done a foldable, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that Huawei's coming out one too. The only reason, like, Samsung was not supposed to debut this until CES, and they brought in a second team of engineers to get this done
right
before CES, because Huawei's going to come out with theirs later on in November. So that's why this is happening.
Well, what I'm interested in is how
Matt says foldable phones will fail like LG G5 did. I mean, I guess we'll see, right? We'll see if there's a market for it. Go on, sorry, Jason.
The LG G5 was a really interesting idea, and the Moto Z line, really interesting idea. Maybe not at the time. Maybe they didn't happen at the times that they needed to happen. For it to catch on, because basically, like, if you're gonna take like the modular thing, then that modular thing has to be there as an option when the whole thing is developing. But if you've got a whole form factor and use scenario for phones, and then you try and say, hey, let's go modular, you can't walk back that way. Yeah. So. The G5 was also just a really terrible phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. They had also there's boot loop issues with that one too, right?
That's that phone, I think, was where the boot loop really kind of I think it had been happening like on the G4 or something like that, but it continued to happen, and that's where people started to lose confidence in LG as as a manufacturer. Unfortunately, because the V series came out the same year as the G5, and the V10 was a really cool phone. But ultimately, now the V series looks like a bigger G series.
Yeah,
which is kind of a drag. But anyway, I mean, I'm interested in this foldable phone. I do think that these flexible screens are definitely the
it's cool,
future,
though, right? You see like how it works, right? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, these are definitely the future.
Yeah.
As is like the Apple Watch, and wherever they go with all the smart technology that they're going to pack into the bands and such.
Did you ever send me that link? I don't think you did.
It's in this chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. Like, oh, you mean like the
in the Hangout chat?
Oh, the Hangouts chat. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool.
So
there it is.
We're probably still 3 to 5 years away from seeing anything that looks like this as a phone that is more than just like a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this is first gen ground running kind of stuff. It'll be interesting to see what happens in a year or even two.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what? It actually it encourages me, because we were having a conversation earlier this year before even people were talking before they were talking about this, saying, smartphone design is kind of getting boring now. Like there hasn't been a lot really that's come out this year within North America. I mean, obviously, if you look outside with like Vivo and stuff like that, yeah, okay, cool, right?
Yeah.
Kudos to Samsung for trying something different to see if, right? I mean, they have the money to throw at this and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And it makes for an interesting conversation, and it gives us a podcast.
Yeah. I just think that, like, in this, we're sort of hand wringing and teeth gnashing about, sizes and materials, et cetera. In 5 years, I bet we're not even talking about smartphones as they exist right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, just little foldable, malleable screens that maybe can interact with a wearable device. There'll be like nanotech in our clothing. There'll be nanotech in our heads. I'm looking forward to the introduction of intraoral headphones.
What are you talking about? Explain to the people what that is, because you used a lot of words there and almost hurt my brain.
Headphones that are installed inside of your head. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried bone conduction headphones?
I haven't, but this is the same.
They're wild. I have a pair here. I should send them to you. They're wild. It's so cool how you can have, it's like full blast going, and we can still talk like this.
Yeah.
I use them for when I mow the lawn. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. And so this intraoral stuff would work in the same way. Now, you could have small nano headphone kind of things installed on your ear bones, right? Or another way to do it is actually brain hacking and installing something inside of your brain that activates the hearing, all that medical stuff. So, small speaker that stays in your ears. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so here's a book suggestion, or a series of books, I guess. If you guys have not read the William Gibson series that starts with Neuromancer, and then Count Zero, and then Mona Lisa Overdrive. He was sort of one of the real progenitors of the cyberpunk movement in sci-fi. But he had all of these things, all of these technologies where our personal tech was personal. Like, the story of Johnny Mnemonic is that he's like had part of his brain removed.
I never saw that movie.
The movie sucks.
Okay.
Let's just be clear.
Sorry.
The movie is no. What was that?
Yeah, it was me at the start of my video going woo. I was testing a link, but I could have just said it was a cow.
Yeah, you could have. Um, but he had part of his brain removed in order to have more storage space to be a data courier.
Okay.
That's and he's carrying some data. The whole plot line of the story is he's carrying some data that that like people want, and he's on the run. And anyway,
okay.
I think that eventually what's going to happen is if we still have wearable devices, they'll be integrated into, like, maybe we'll have something like a watch, but man, I'm waiting for like the AR contact lenses.
You think that'll happen in our time?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I mean, I'll be freaking old.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, by the way, everybody, because we're not going to have another chance to do this. Everybody, please listen. This Thursday is a very special day. It is the JTL's birthday. He will be a 204-year-old wizard. Right now, he's 203.
That's
Can
correct.
I get I want you guys just to emoji up the chat right now and wish Jason a happy birthday. Show him some love in the chat. It is his birthday on Thursday. And make sure if you're on Twitter, you just at him like crazy and just fill up his inbox. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I've reached the point in birthday time when you're kind of just yeah, all right.
Okay. So
I'll get a steak out of it.
Someone keeps on tagging us. I'm just going to read it here. At Zatox, I got GTL. Why have the Note 9 sales suck so badly? Offering double trade-in value, trying to persuade people to whatever. To other phones, Apple doesn't have to do this, and people flock to buy. Do you want to take that one, Jason?
I don't think the Note series was never meant to be a competitor for like iOS devices. It's a niche device, and it costs a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And so I don't think I don't know. Maybe it's not meeting expectations. I have not looked at whether or not Samsung has released what their targets were. We likely again won't know too much about it until the close of this fourth quarter in 2018.
Yeah.
But the Note 9 is not a competitor for the iPhone XS Max or any of that stuff. It's a very, I mean, it competes because it's the same size, it's all that, but its reason to be is to be like this productivity phone. So Jason is a Scorpio. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio too, man. My birthday is next month. Woohoo!
Yeah. Thank you for the birthday wishes, everybody. I really do appreciate it.
I'm gonna do a stream on my regular channel and just like I'm gonna have some drinks and everything. It'll be a good time.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get crazy, but I mean, we'll see.
So I think we've reached the point where we could officially wrap up
the
podcast portion.
Oh, the podcast portion. Sorry. Okay.
Yes. We can officially wrap up the podcast portion of this live stream by saying thank you to everyone out there in podcast land who has been listening to us rattle on. Thank you to everybody who's in the live stream. We are going to talk about a few more things after this podcast is done. If you want to be a part of that, we stream live on YouTube every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys can jump in here and be a part of the fun. Again, Painfully Honest Tech on the YouTube is where you will find the stream. Otherwise, I really do appreciate everybody stopping by. Zach, again, spectacular co-hosting.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. And
I love our audience too. Lots of good comments today. Lots of good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, let's give it up to the audience. We don't do this enough, Jason. Like, honestly, thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you.
So yeah, if you want to keep coming back to the podcast, or if you want to, keep coming back for the videos, there are ways to do that. You can figure it out. other than that, I'll just say that again. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This has been the Painfully Honest Tech podcast. I was actually doing an imitation of Viper there.
Did you? Oh, immediately.
Painfully Honest Tech, the podcast. Until the next time, we are out.
Beautiful.
Now we talk.
This is the part where I change the background color.
Yeah.
I'm feeling purple tonight, guys. Oh, you know what? I'm feeling where is it? I know I have the color here. This color right here is coral. Coral.
Nice.
So I'm wearing blue and I got the coral background. We're deciding here. My brother-in-law is calling me. He knows I'm online right now. He's fucking with me. Excuse the language. Hey, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to do something here. Oh, he hung up too. I was going to put him live on the interwebs. Oh, well.
Yeah. So Zach we didn't get a chance last week to talk about
Last week, the freaking YouTube died and everybody was freaked the fuck out.
I didn't freak out. Like, why did everybody freak out?
And all these YouTubers went onto Twitter Live and Instagram. And Roberto Blake actually had a good point. He's like, see, this is why you don't put all your eggs in the same basket. This is why you need to diversify. If you're a creator, if you're going to do this full time, you cannot. I had someone today. It was a conversation. It was a weird conversation. They're confirming, like, because I was a creator and that I shouldn't be supporting Spotify, and they assumed I was employed by YouTube. And I'm like, no. I'm not a YouTuber. YouTube is an outlet for me. I am a creator, and it's one of many outlets. Twitter is an outlet for me. Instagram's an outlet for me. Should I do Snapchat? I don't know. Patreon's an outlet for me. YouTube is my main outlet. Be very clear about that.
Well, I think the creator thing in terms of Spotify has to do with how egregiously they screw the artists, and everybody gives the.
I get it, but they were like accusing me of as a YouTube employee for buying this, and I'm like, no. I'm not employed by them at all. If anything, this is a contract thing. I'm putting out a thing out there, and I'm making a few pennies.
You are an independent contractor.
Exactly. And I'm making a few pennies. And what I spend my money on for my private music service is my damn business.
Yeah.
I got really upset because people seem to think that we're employees of. No, that's not how this works. I work hard to put out the content and put out good content for people. And YouTube rewards me with a little bit of something. But I can make a whole lot of more big something doing affiliate and sponsorship stuff, which is something you and I are working on. Right?
That's true.
Right.
So Caroline Brown.
I'm not about to go Roberto in here, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. So Caroline Brown asks Spotify versus iTunes or Apple Music question. Or whatever it is that they call it these days. Mm-hmm. Apple Music for me is the best.
I guess I should try it now that I'm getting an iPhone and I have the MacBook here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I like it because, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I'll say it again. Back in the old days, there was a music streaming service called Mog, M-O-G.
I remember Mog, yeah.
And that was my favorite streaming service at that time. But then Mog was bought by Beats. I think they might have been bought by somebody else who then were bought by Beats.
Uh-huh.
And then Apple bought Beats and they got Mog.
And Dr. Dre made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Dr. Dre got paid.
Yeah. So Mog was more album and artist based than Spotify. Spotify in the early days especially was like, it was all about playlists and individual songs and that kind of thing. And I just couldn't navigate it at all. My brain does not think about music that way. I still think about music as like, I'm perusing a virtual representation of the library of music that I have, So anyway, I like Apple Music for that reason. And Spotify just hasn't worked for me. Tidal is probably the most awful that I've ever tried because you
mean Tide?
Tidal.
Is it called Tidal? No, Tidal?
Tidal. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It's they offer high quality stuff.
Oh wait a minute, Tidal, is that the one that like Jay-Z and Beyonce
Yeah.
are part of? Okay, yeah.
I think they're still involved, but they got money from another company, something like that. My whole thing about I love that they offer high quality streaming, but their discoverability was just terrible for me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it.
I use Google Play Music mainly because that's what works through your Google speakers, right? I mean, you can tell it to use Spotify
Yeah.
for the defaults, and then I also have, but I find the intuitiveness of Spotify just awesome. Like they come up with those recommended lists or your daily mix, and I'm like, damn, I haven't heard Shrub Rock by Smashing Pumpkins, or Smashing Pumpkins,
Yes.
for a long time, and I'm like, yeah.
See, that's something that Apple Music makes really good playlists, like personalized playlists as well.
Yeah,
and they do it by genre, mood, etc., etc. And I know Spotify does that too, but it just never. I think the more time you spend with the service, the better it gets at doing that stuff. And I really like a lot of the playlists that Apple Music comes up with.
Yeah.
What I'm actively trying to fight against is living the playlist life, where it's like it's a very passive way of listening to music. You know?
What's wrong with the playlist? I don't understand what you mean.
Well, you get what they're. I like to choose an album and put it on.
Oh, you want like
and
whole
listen
album?
to it.
Yeah.
You know, like to make a conscious choice to do that.
Okay.
Whereas like if you're doing playlists and all that kind of stuff, you kind of get what they give you. And I find myself a lot of times, if it's not working for me, I'm hitting the fast forward button a lot.
I'm done with albums, man, because usually every other song except for like 3 or 4 suck, which is why I downloaded a crap ton of music when I had Napster. A crap ton of music.
Killed my life.
Yeah. I was on.
Killed my life. Totally ruined my music career.
This is does lossless work on them music stream? What does he mean? What does he mean?
So
I don't understand what he means. I don't understand what he means.
So what you can get lossless streaming from Tidal.
Geonosis, I pay for them together at a really good rate. Sorry, go ahead.
Tidal does lossless streaming. It's not FLAC, but
remember LimeWire? I downloaded so much porn from there.
We don't need to know this.
I think I still have some of it.
Don't need to know.
I'm just saying. That's what we all did.
Yeah, I don't need to know. Anyway, so you can stream lossless or close to lossless from Tidal, but you know all of the lossless formats like FLAC, you could have a song be close to 1 gigabyte.
Wow.
You know, well, maybe not that big, but it very big compared to what an MP3 is. MP3s have come a long way.
They have.
Since the early days. They're still a compressed format, but if you've got 320 kilobits per second MP3 that you're listening to, it's really hard to tell the difference unless you have really good ears and really good equipment. So,
through that.
Yep. I don't want to go uncensored. Geonosis. We learned at VidCon or VidSummit that saying the bad words in your videos puts you in the timeout room.
But this gets unlisted after, so we're cool, right? Or should I not swear? Are you gonna yell at me after this? You're gonna yell at me after this. Oh my god, I'm in trouble.
No, I'm not gonna yell at you.
Man.
It's I'm trying to be good.
I know, but I said the bad words.
It's I
wish Rich Brown was here.
Now let's not go there. Don't, because he might be lurking, and
I'm just saying he's a terrific individual.
Okay,
that's a stand-up citizen. I'm glad he's here to fight for the little guy. Rich Brown, you go, buddy.
Let's let that go.
All right,
Please.
sorry.
And thank you. So anyway, yeah, at Vid Summit, we learned in one of the keynote sessions that YouTube has a timeout room for channels that say the swear words.
Mm-hmm.
There, instead of the 7 deadly words that George Carlin came out with for radio and television, there are like 100 of them on YouTube.
Well, what they have is they have basically green, yellow, and red letter words. Okay, so do you want me to use the K word as an example? Right.
Well, just a word that means to no longer let someone be alive.
Yeah, the one that rhymes with filler.
Yeah,
with a K. Filler. Yeah. For example, I said in one of my videos, the iPhone XS Max has a filler camera. It was just an absolute filler camera. And I was meant in a positive way, right? Context, right? The AI doesn't recognize and doesn't want to recognize context. So it would flag the word filler with the K. It would flag you. Not as harsh as other words because it was only a yellow letter word. But if you use it enough, I think like 20 or 30 times or something like that, then it's like beep, forget it, you're done. It's gonna do like Peter McKinnon and just piece you out. Right? Have you watched the replay yet?
I haven't watched it.
I've watched it twice and just like, yeah, no more white socks.
Yeah. Peter McKinnon doesn't like white socks.
And I wore the Darth Vader socks today. Did you see the post on Twitter?
No, I didn't.
They're awesome. My kids gave them to me.
I was either like working or sleeping today.
I was driving all around the city today on 2 hours of sleep. I probably shouldn't have been driving, but hey, good times.
So Retario, it's not unconstitutional because YouTube is a private business. They can state their terms of service, and if you don't like what they are, then you can not be a part of their private business.
That's right.
Where freedom of speech is only tangentially protected on a platform like YouTube. So
Jason dropping the knowledge.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so Genosis, I saw, like I said, I saw the iJustine video where she was doing some AB stuff with the XR camera, 10R camera, and the 10S Max. It did look pretty good, but I don't. I'll have to see it for myself.
Jason, if you're not enjoying your pickle there, your pixel, send it to me. That way I don't have to buy one.
I might have to send it to someone that will give me money so I can buy an iPhone XR.
You want me to pay you for it? You want me to pay you for the phone that you got for free?
I didn't get it.
You got a fanny pack out of that. You got hooked up.
I'll gladly part with the fanny pack.
You got hooked. If I get my hands on one of those fanny packs, I'm gonna rock that at CES. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I guess I saw Jake Paul wearing a fanny pack.
Okay, Matt Lowry says, "Why did Jake Paul wear a fanny pack?" Yeah, but Jake Paul can do that.
Yeah.
Matt Lowry says, Zach Talk Zach, why did you ditch the 10S Max but now order the 10R? Okay, the reason why is because I like the unique placement that Apple has put the 10R. There's literally 4 differences between the 10R and the 10S, okay? 1, the type of screen. And you guys have seen the videos today from the bigger tubers. It's not a bad screen. 2, 1 less camera, so a single lens. Which other OEM do we know that uses a single lens and brings out phenomenal photos? The Pixel, okay? Right. Jonathan's video showed that today. It takes phenomenal photos, okay? 2. All right. 3, aluminum rather than metal band. So a little bit different materials, a little bit lighter phone, okay? And 4, I mean, those are the top 3 that I can think of, right? Those are probably the biggest 3 right there. The 10S Max or 10S is IP68. The 10R is IP67. The difference between them, after you get past those 3 major things, are very minute. In fact, I actually did a live stream about that.
Did you say 1 less gigabyte of RAM?
Oh, yeah, 1 less, but I mean, it's optimized.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still
right?
It's still 1 less.
So I'm really intrigued because Jason first brought this up in one of his videos about how Apple has uniquely positioned this in terms of price point, materials, what's offered, and everything. I firmly believe, and I agree with Jason, that the 10R was supposed to be their main device this year. That they're doing a pivot to offer an Apple device, at a more affordable price for everybody. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It doesn't take good photos; it manufactures them. That's subjective.
Well,
I mean,
the Pixel does that too.
Everything uses software. What is that supposed to mean? Zach, why would you go Note 9 or 10s Max if you only had the option to choose one for a year? I'd go Note simply because I already have it right here, and I love it. I'm gonna be rocking an Android in my right pocket and the 10R and the 10R in my left pocket for the next year. 2 fits in it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun journey.
I don't know if you're gonna make it to a year.
I'll make it.
Okay.
I'll make it.
Okay. I don't know.
If I don't make it, I'll have a compelling reason why, but I'm really going to give it a good try.
So,
you also forgot to mention that the 10s Max has a gigabyte LT and 4x. I mean, as long as I can make a phone call and connect to data. Yes, that is a deep dragon skin, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Zach. He's like starting to do things that I'm constitutionally against. Like
I'm just putting giving it a shot, man.
Didn't you watch the video?
Yeah.
D brand.
Yeah, these are AKGs. These are what came with the. This is what came with the Note.
Yep.
And the reason I'm wearing them is because I did my hair, and I don't want to have to do it. And also I also have to return these. These are the Soundcore because the housing plastic piece right here broke. I don't know why it broke. They literally sit here, but like I took it out and it cracked. Yeah. Over here it broke. You guys can see that? It broke. So I contacted Soundcore. They were really cool about it. They gave me a 15% off. They said, just buy a new pair, send it back to us. When they get it back, they'll refund the rest.
So Yanda asks, do you think Qualcomm will rip Apple for patent infringement? Well, I mean, I guess what Qualcomm has claimed is that Apple just kind of like took all the stuff that Qualcomm did and then told Intel like this is what they do. So do that.
Do this.
And so it very well could be patent infringement. It very well could be, a large kerfluffle. Or kerfuffle, I guess is the way you really say it. But I don't know.
iPhone 10R yellow Bumblebee edition.
No.
Yeah.
It's too light.
Transformers.
It's too light. It's too light. It's a pastel. It's too light.
Whatever. Have you seen it in person?
Now you sound like everybody else on the internet.
I mean, we'll find out. I'm not any professional here. I just have basic lights. I'm not using any crazy cameras and everything. And I'm not suggesting that the bigger guys, whatever, hyped up the colors or anything like that. You guys are gonna get the real deal. I'm gonna have the phone here next week anyway. I'll be able to show you guys here.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I'm also giving away one, but yeah, we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Zach has a giveaway. You can check his channel for details.
Yep.
Do I miss the 8 Plus? I sort of. I have to admit that now with the bigger 10s Max, I don't miss the fingerprint scanner at all. I just like this is like better in my mind. Sorry if that makes anybody mad.
I mean, I don't understand why people get mad. It's your opinion. And
yeah, DJ G Money is in the house. Good to see you, my friend.
He just commented on my video here, and I'm actually replying to him.
Michael Bay is trash. Like, how did we get on Michael Bay?
Have you seen that YouTube video? Michael Bay explosions. Michael Bay explosions. Michael Bay explosions. It's so funny. So funny. Have you seen it?
He is. Well, he's not always awful.
I'm gonna find it. We're gonna play it. Okay.
If you want to, I guess.
Hold on. I'm gonna find it. It's so funny. Okay. Hold on. Michael Bay explosions. I don't know why it's funny. It's like a minute long. It's not even.
GP1207 asks, what headphone amplifier do you use? what does gain actually mean. So you got the HD 800s for half price. That's pretty cool. Those are very nice headphones. Basically, the ohms rating of a headphone is the amount of, so the smaller the number, the less power it takes to drive the headphones and get sound out of them. The bigger the number, the more power you have to have in order to drive them efficiently and effectively. So I can't remember off the top of my head what the ohms rating is for the HD 800s, but they are not a sensitive headphone. Yeah, they need power. I've used everything from FiiO, like $50 DACs, to stuff that costs more. I've found that something like the FiiO DAC is fine by me.
Okay.
But there's plenty of stuff out there.
Okay, you ready? Michael Bay Explosions. You ready for this? Okay, here you go, guys. Michael Bay Explosions. I'm gonna turn this up. Michael Bay Explosions. Here we go.
Michael Bay presents Explosions. Explosions from Michael Bay. Boom, Michael Bay sucked.
Just tell the whole theater, why don't you?
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, that was funny. It was stupid and funny. Come on.
It was funny. Yeah.
It's like it was funny. Yeah. Let's move on.
Do I ever use the EQ on my phone? No. Never. The Apple EQ that's in the iPhone is some of the worst EQ profiles I've ever heard in my life. No, you can't have my Pixel case.
Which case did you get? I don't think you showed us what case you got.
Yeah, I did. It's this one.
Maybe I don't care. Oh, yeah, you got the Superboy one, whatever it is.
I don't know what it's my case. It's Herbie brand.
Lateral Jennings says, "Did you ever check out the Gear Icon X?" Actually, I did. I got a free pair with my Note 9 in Canada. You got a free pair of Icon X. I unboxed them. I charged them up. I used them twice. I put them back in the box, and I haven't got back to them because
the original Icon X were garbage. I can't imagine that the newer ones are any. They're probably better, but they're not. They're not AirPods.
Okay. So Levi says here, what games do you guys play? I'll tell you right now. We play head games.
Not Foreigner, man. Not Foreigner. Please.
I think
for the love of Christ.
I think this stuff is kicking in. What's that?
For the love of Christ. Although I will say that Blue Morning is still really a great song. That's one of my favorite songs. And it's a Foreigner song.
I apologize. I'm just gonna call you Jennings. Luttrell
Jennings, yeah.
Can I just see Jennings? Jennings is cool.
If
right?
you wish. I mean, it's his name.
I hope you're not upset.
No.
Sorry. I apologize.
He's trying to be helpful.
No, I know he is. Appreciate being here. Travis MCP. Travis MCP in the chat. Hey, Travis, check it out. What up, playa? Rocking your hoodie. Guys, there's a mod in the chat. Travis MCP. Go to his channel. Get some of this merch.
Yeah, well, don't do that until you buy my t-shirt.
Oh yeah, buy Jason's one t-shirt that he has.
It's a good t-shirt though.
You had some designs you showed me and like nothing happened.
I know. Somebody sent them to me on they're like, "Hey, I did some designs. Do you like them?" And I just never got back to them. So I don't know. I guess I could get back to them.
Is this an actual designer or just someone random you found?
They found me.
Okay. Can you get me in touch with them? Because I need to get some new stuff made for the Zach pack.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it off air.
Yes. So when I passed those around, like people liked the t-shirt designs. People weren't so hot about the thumbnails.
I think
And
people were just angry at you, no matter what you said came out of your mouth. People would be like, "No."
that's usually the way it goes.
Did you hear that Andrew Edwards decided to keep the phone? He's not returning it. That was so funny, man. Let's talk about Vid Summit. That's a good segue. Let's talk about Vid Summit.
Okay. Hold on. Somebody is
Thank you, Travis.
so AirPods 2. I'm not, I mean, people are saying that we're going to see AirPods 2.
Let me tell you this, okay? You guys know that I work for, I work for a cellular accessories distributor.
Yes.
I don't have any information.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they come out with AirPods 2,
Mhm.
I hope that they're like AirPods Pro.
Like, what makes them pro?
They sound better.
That's subjective.
No, it's not.
If they could put a bigger driver in there and actually prove it and everything, then yes, okay. But that's, I think, for the most part, it's subjective. These sound better.
No, it's not subjective. It's totally objective. I can objectively say what doesn't sound good about the AirPods. I can.
Okay.
I mean, you know, some people might like the things I don't like, but at a certain threshold, headphones, like if they drop below that threshold, there's like just an inescapable level of suck. And the AirPods sort of float right on that line.
Okay.
Am I into any type of art or design? I mean, yeah, favorite album cover. That's a really great question.
Ooh, I like Bat Out of Hell. That's a
Yeah,
good cover. That's
that
like
is-
iconic.
It's funny because I was just thinking of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath as
I'm
she
talking
mentioned that.
about Meatloaf.
Oh,
Bat Out of Hell.
I was thinking I had Bark
For
at
a
the
minute there, I
Moon.
thought we were actually connected, Jason. I thought we had something.
No. No, I guess not. I mean, honestly, I'll be totally honest, and this is a lame ass.
Painfully honest.
Yeah. This is lame, but Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
There's so much going on in there.
Yeah,
eh?
that album cover has never been equaled.
It's like you could look at just a corner of it and go, like, there's a story right there. In fact, when I went saw Paul McCartney, they were flashing images of that as on a screen.
Yeah.
And everything. And it was like kind of like zoom ins, and it was really cool, like leading up before Paul took the stage.
Right.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah. So I mean that's my favorite.
Do it.
I saw Paul McCartney in 1989.
Saw him 2 weeks ago.
I wish I want to see him again before he can no
Dies?
longer do it. But I'm kind of afraid. I mean,
Why?
his voice is still amazing. Like for
There-
him to
there-
be able to sing the way that he's able to sing
was a-
at his age.
There was a couple
is-
of high notes he couldn't, and he very much let the crowd take over. But he
Right.
still had the energy on the stage. For 76, he's still freaking killing it, man.
Yeah, well, I'm impressed by how well he at 76 years old to be able to sing with the range and the power that he's able to sing is really a testament to like I think singers do get better as they get older. I know I'm a much better singer now than I was when I was
Talent and
25.
practice, and
Yeah.
being know when to rest your voice. Probably very strict on what he drinks. Things
Well,
like that.
he's very strict about all that
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's been a vegan for
He's a vegan.
30 years, yeah.
Poor guy.
His wife was they had like a vegetarian line of frozen foods or something. I don't know. But yeah.
Cool.
Can you do a sample of music here? And well,
Yeah, play
I'm
some music
gonna-
for it, Jason. Let's play
I've
some
got it.
music.
No, not right now.
No? Okay.
Not right now. I've got a video where I'm testing out the Pixel 3 microphone, and I played one of my songs so that I won't get a copyright strike.
You could always use an epidemic song.
I I don't know.
No, that's a good excuse to show off your stuff, man. That's awesome.
It's not showing off. I'm telling you, it's a very pedestrian performance. But yeah. So anyway, Vid Summit. Vid Summit was an incredible experience in many ways.
Tell the people what Vid Summit is.
Vid Summit is a conference that happens yearly in Los Angeles, focused around online video marketing. But it really is focused on being more effective as a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's not
in
officially
many
sanctioned.
ways.
Yeah, it's not officially put on by YouTube, but there's a lot of YouTube people there. Like even the guy that does like the community videos, he was there.
Right.
Yeah, and Daryl Eves puts it on, who's a YouTube guru, I guess if you want to call him that. He's an entrepreneur, owns multiple businesses, Creatus and everything like that. So if you guys are looking at building your channel or getting into this and everything like that, I would definitely check out Daryl Eves. Terrific guy, terrific, awesome guy. Jennings says, PhD and Zach, are you guys going to CES? Yes, I am. I already have my pass. I'm good to go. It's free to go. I'm actually in the process of booking the hotel. I was actually looking at staying more central. I almost booked my hotel today at Circus, and somebody that knows Las Vegas really well was like, no, don't stay there because you'll get stabbed. So I'm thinking of just staying at the Luxor because I stayed there last year. It's just it took forever to get from the Luxor to the convention center. It took 45 minutes, but I went last year with my company. This year I'm going as Zach Talks Tech. I'm going there with the purpose of meeting brands and to go to the parties at night.
I'm thinking about going.
I'll share a room with you, man. Like I don't normally like sharing a room, but I mean, because it would definitely help on the cost. I'll share a room with you. Do you have business cards?
Not yet.
Okay, don't even bother registering yet until you get business cards. And you've seen my cards, right? You don't have to put all sorts of information on there, but make it look, legit.
Right.
Get on that right away. Like get on Vistaprint tonight if you can. Get those cards done.
I have to figure out my design.
Just do a black card like I did. Throw some social media stuff on there. Contact information when he goes. Question: Jennings says, me and a YouTuber was supposed to get Airbnb. Why not get Airbnb? I never thought of because I think most of the Airbnbs are away from the. Well, actually, I think there's residential around the convention center. The convention center is going to have all the big names like Razer, Samsung, Anchor, Alki, stuff like that. The Sands Casino Resort will have all the new stuff, like all the up-and-comer Kickstarters, Indiegogo, stuff like that. Zach and Jason sharing a bed in a normal... What? A bed room would... What?
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Samuel, we would have separate beds, you twit.
Yeah, he's talking about the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I know he is. I'm just playing. I know.
Yeah. But yes,
good movie.
It would be an Oscar and Felix kind of situation, I imagine.
I'd rather have a hotel room. If we do go, I'm going to go in a day early, if Sunday, if not the Monday, and then fly out Saturday, not fly out Friday with everybody.
I have to figure out. So this is what I have to figure out.
Uh-huh.
If I'm not quitting my job anytime around that general time frame, then I can probably go.
Yep.
If I am going to do that, then I need to not travel anywhere.
Let's be very clear. CES is a lot of walking. It's hot and like I said, let's put it this way. When I flew into CES last year, I was 400 pounds. When I flew out, I was 385, and I'm not even lying to you. I took pictures. I walked off that much.
So, well, that's what I need. I got a good 15, 20 pounds that I want to get rid of.
It was really good. And like you can even set up your meeting. You can actually go to the CES page and actually set up meetings in advance. So for example, you could go there and you could look up the UAG page and have a meeting with them. Right. And I'm going to do that with some specific brands like Alki and Anchor and stuff like that and say, as an influencer, can I come see you guys?
Right.
And instead of those meetings, you can always just drop by and give your card, but everybody else is doing that. Like there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not like Vid Summit where you get this and that. You have to be good at networking and finding where you want to go. You definitely want to map out which brands you want to see. Like if you go to the South Hall, you're there for the day, if not a good half day, if you want to see everything. Okay. Right. If you go to the Sands, you're there for the day because you're all over the place. Right. The Sands is really good too. It's all the up and comer stuff. If you go to the North Hall, you're there for the day, right? Like it's huge. It's such an event. right?
See, and one thing about those kinds of conferences, like
It's not even a conference to showcase, right? So yeah.
I'm like automatically instantaneously exhausted.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like, when you go walk around the mall, for some reason after a half an hour, you just like all the life has been sucked from you. That's
Mm-hmm.
at least that's how I feel when I'm walking around the mall. So
Yeah.
so Caroline Brown says, what do I do? I teach creative writing in a med school.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot more than that, but basically I'm a writer teaching writing.
Gino says I wouldn't know about VidCon. Jason would go. He's saying how many Costco's does VidCon like in terms of size?
Probably the main hall is probably 2 Costco's, I would say. So that's where the convention center, that's where all the exhibits are, that's where all the bigger events happen.
Mhm.
They also had like an outside venue with food trucks, and then they had a secondary site
Mhm.
where all of the creator and industry like workshops and such were happening.
Mhm. Let's be really clear, guys. VidCon is, while you can go to it to network and everything, it's very much the fan event. So if you're a fan of Philip DeFranco and Casey Neistat, even us, if you knew that we were going, if we were going to be on a panel, the VidCon is for that. It's a lot of people running around, fans and kids and everything like that. It's like Disney World. It's crazy. Jason knows. Vid Summit that we went to is for people that are serious about their online video and want to take it to the next level and turn clicks into money and make this into a legitimate business and make some money. So
and there's a whole spectrum of what that can look like.
Yeah,
Some people are from the business side and they want to figure out how to use online video to make money at their current business. Right. And then there are some, and then on the other end of the spectrum would be somebody like myself or Zach, who like, we're doing this thing. We're doing this thing and talking, and money becomes something that you need to have in order to continue to do it. But it's not the reason you started, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not the reason I started. I had no idea that I would ever end up making any kind of money on YouTube. So,
well, I mean, let's be really clear. You and I do this because I like doing it. I have a passion for tech, and I like to be able to explain it to people and make sense of it. But I also like to get down and dirty and like get nerd out over specs and stuff like that. So there's 2 different sides of me. And I never thought I'd see the day where I would keep an iPhone or everything like that. But again, I'm really intrigued on that unique thing. Now and then in addition to that, hey, can I make some money doing this? And the challenge of doing that, cool, right?
Right.
That's
yeah.
I
mean, that's ultimately like creators have to thread that needle in whatever way works for them. So for me, it's like I have a channel called Painfully Honest Tech. It wouldn't really work for me to like get paid to do reviews.
Yep.
So I have to find other ways to monetize my channel in order to maintain the credibility that I've built up for myself by doing what I do on this channel. So there was a question of, Nice asks, 3XL, you going to keep it or return it? Well, I can't return it. It was gifted to me. Daily driver, backup phone. It is a really good phone. I am not 100% ready to make any kind of pronouncements on it yet. I would say, though, that no matter what, unless you have a phone that's like 3+ years old, the 3XL is not worth $900. Yeah. So like if it were $800, yeah, all day. Same thing with the LG V40. I'm never going to pay $800 or $900 for that phone. So it's like, I can say a lot of nice things about the Pixel. I have some things that are frustrating to me about it that hopefully can be fixed in software. But at the end of the day, if I'm spending my own money, I'm not paying $900 for
So
the Pixel.
Gianosa says here, do you guys have enough time to do other things while in CS, while in Vegas, gambling, etc.? So my plan, I'm just going to let you guys in. This is my plan. I'm hoping to get a sponsor for CES, someone that will help pay for the flight or part of the hotel. And in return, I will vlog every day while I'm down there and put out a video every day and have a 10-second spot for them at the start, 10 or 15-second spot at the start. I think that's a pretty fair thing. So I would do that. Now, if I didn't have that, I would probably at night find different restaurants to check out. There's a lot of good food, different places. I want to go check out Hell's Kitchen, like the Gordon Ramsay restaurant while I'm there. And as for gambling, I mean, blackjack's cool, so's poker and everything. But my game, because it's just chill and you can just kind of sit there and chill and have fun with it. Roulette. Roulette's my game. I like roulette. I put a couple bucks on my daughter's birthday. I've got a couple bucks on my wife's, and then my son's, and then I pick the one between the zeros there, and then I usually pick 7 because Prince 7. I usually pick 13 because 13. Roulette's my thing because you can just kind of sit there, $200 or $300 and just have some fun, right? In fact, I met Max Lee, Zato Max. Max Lee. Met him last year. I finished seeing Tiesto, which I thought Tiesto was a cracker, but actually he's a DJ at the MGM there. And I was walking through at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I sat down to play, and I looked across, and there's this guy playing poker, and I'm like, "Is that it is?" And I'm like, "Hey, Max Lee," and he's like, "Hey," he came over, and he took a selfie with me. It was cool. It was really cool meeting him. So
Ray Ramirez asked, "What's frustrating me about the Pixel 3 XL?" I mentioned this earlier. It's just buggy.
Mhm.
The software has not been fully baked, which I find ironic and
half-baked.
strange when it's like the supposedly the showcase device for Android. But yeah, it's just been little things. It's been little things that if this was my only phone, I would be perfectly fine with it. If it were my only choice, it's a good phone. But since I have a choice, I don't know if it will be my choice.
You should keep the blue one. Looks so much like the Mustang's Grabber Blue. That's cool.
Okay. I imagine that's a Canadian thing.
I don't know. I'm just reading the comments here. What's interesting is TubeBuddy has this cool feature where it tells you Patreons will be highlighted. And I keep on reading different names, but I keep on going back to my own Patreon. I only have 2 Patreons. This is something I definitely need to work on. I learned about it at VidSummit. Okay, I'm going to ask you the question because we were talking about it and they kind of got deviated with the whole Vegas thing. What was your favorite keynote motivational at VidSummit? Motivational.
Probably Peter McKinnon. I mean,
I have to agree. Yep.
So the whole thing, the one thing that really stuck with me walking out of Peter McKinnon's talk, and if you guys are familiar with his videos, I mean, he's super charismatic and everything, and you can see that in what he does in videos. I wasn't sure how well it would translate over to being a speaker on a stage at a convention, but it did very well. And one thing that he said was, this whole idea of, you see somebody doing something on, let's just say on YouTube or whatever. And oh, well, like, okay, so iJustine's on vacation, beautiful place. Oh, it must be nice.
The must be nice part. Yeah.
If you become one of those people who says it must be nice and kind of like let yourself off the hook by saying that,
or hang out with people like that.
Yeah,
that was it. That was the main thing. Don't hang out with people like that.
Then you'll always be a must be nice person.
Yeah, like no, it's not. We don't have a podcast. You don't have a podcast with 141 people, somewhere upwards to 700, 800 people. Sometimes must be nice. No, you worked hard to get there. You got people's attention here, right?
Yeah,
cut that negativity out of your life.
And the only reason that it's there is that I didn't look at somebody else who was doing something similar and say, oh, well, nice for them. It must be nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but I've always been this way. I've always been a doer, probably to a fault. And ultimately, like, the success that I'm having on YouTube right now is this was another thing that Peter McKinnon talked about, the whole idea of the overnight success. Like, people see Peter McKinnon on YouTube and they're like, oh, he got 1 million subs in 9 months. He's like, no, but the reality of it is he got 1 million subs in like however many years it took for him from point A to 1 million subs to get there. So to me, like, I started singing on stage when I was 8 years old.
Wow, man.
So right now I'm looking at close to 40 years. It's taken me close to 40 years to get to where I am right now on YouTube. Now I've had successes other places and in other ways along the way, but right now YouTube is probably the biggest success that I've ever had in terms of like just the number of people that I reach and that kind of thing. And it's cool. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to doing this every day. It's on my brain throughout the day, kind of thing, and I'm all about my favorite part of the whole process is the editing. I'm really enjoying Final Cut and having fun with it and everything. I'm getting faster and faster. In fact, I put together today's video faster than the last one, which was about the same length and had all the same kind of graphics and everything like that. So I kind of felt like Jonathan Morrison. Okay, so what was your favorite takeaway or favorite educational keynote or someone you went and saw talk? I had two, but you go ahead.
It was more of a cumulative thing.
Okay.
So when I'd only recently gone over 100,000 subs in the couple of weeks before Vid Summit, right? And I went from 80,000 subs to 120,000 subs in the course of like 2.5 or 3 weeks.
It was crazy, man, your growth.
And my brain had no idea like what 100K plus subs life would be like. So I just basically was let me see. The easiest way that I could put this is that going to Vid Summit, having an experience where I see myself in context to like what's going on in Vid Summit, and then I see other people that I can triangulate where I am off of where they are, helped me have a better sense of what I was, what Painfully Honest Tech 100K plus was as compared to Painfully Honest Tech 80K or 60K or 50K, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So, and it was an accumulation of a lot of stuff, like hearing Sarah Dietschy talk about having her struggles when she got to 100K and kept like going back and forth and gaining and losing subs and stuff like that. I mean, that was really helpful for me to hear at the time, because I was going through something not.
It was funny.
Not the same.
It's funny how she recognized you. Tell the story about. Tell everybody the story about how she recognized you.
Okay, so Sarah Dietschy's given a talk at this conference, and there's probably 100 people there, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave this talk, and she talked about how when she hit 100K subs, she would like gain subs and then lose subs, and then just kind of weird back and forth, and it lasted for a long time. So when she was taking questions, I just raised my hand and I asked her, like, do you think that kind of weird situation has something to do with like going over that 100,000 threshold? Because I was experiencing something similar. And she looked at me, she's like, oh, I know your face. Do you make tech videos? Like, yeah. Do you make videos that make people mad? Yeah.
That was the best. That was the best way she described you.
Do you make videos about other YouTubers? I was like, yeah. She's like, please don't ever make a video about me.
Oh, so funny. And then you started talking to her about how you're like, you lost some subscribers, and I just yelled out in front of everybody. I'm like, he lost 1,000 subscribers in 3 days, and the whole room went, oh, you know that commercial? Like, we didn't go through a realtor. Oh, it was just
Yeah.
like that. The whole room. It was so funny. And you looked over at me like you just wanted to kill me, but we had a laugh after. It was still funny. And you were a bit of a celebrity there for some people at Vid Summit.
Yeah.
There were people that came up to you like, "Oh, you're Jason. You're sometimes known as the JTL," and you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah. So Killer Master 666, like, how am I fake now? This is a question that I would love to know the answer to,
Mhm.
because nothing has changed about how I do what I do. But now I'm doing it and I have more subscribers, which
Mhm.
makes everything slightly different from a lot of perspectives, but it doesn't change who I am or what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I think, well, Vid Summit taped all of the speakers, and you can get that, like, if you buy the online package, you can get that. I don't know if it'll be available for broad consumption.
I have a question for the people here. So you guys are all into tech and everything like that. And with that, obviously, with cell phones come cases and things like that. Would everybody here be into a series of Jason and I talking about some of the things that the accessory market doesn't tell you about? In terms of ABCD companies all offering drop protection, but they're all literally the same thing. Could you guys find value in something like that because of my insider information? And then Jason could probably go even deeper into relevant information that you can find, but I know all of the back end stuff. If you guys could
Yeah.
find value in that, just let us know. Just say yes. If you would find that
Or no.
interesting. Yeah, just let me know. Just let us know, because I think that'd be kind of a cool collab to do once in a while, Jason. I think.
Yeah,
Roberto talked
absolutely. So Killer Master 66 says you change your mind with the Apple products. Yeah, I do. I think I've done that like 50 times on YouTube.
Mhm.
I reserve the right to change my mind and not be called a
Here's the
liar
thing
for
is,
it.
Jason's allowed to change his mind just like any other person. He's given reasons. It's not like he decided just to flip his script and everything and not give a reason. I think you guys really need to give him credit if he explains.
Yeah.
Explains.
Uh,
Everybody likes the idea. I mean, we got to work on that.
So Killer Master and other people who maybe have this same question. The thing is, like, and I say this in almost every video that I do about Apple, I have been an Apple customer for 30 years. And I have a love-hate relationship in that, Apple really means something to me. And that's always the case. So when I say something negative about Apple, particularly about their business practices, particularly in how they launched these phones this year, I can be upset. I can say negative things and also still value my relationship with the company and want to see them do better.
Mhm.
Right? So when
you guys got to think about it. You got to think about it. He likes the company. He loves the company so much. He wants to work with them. He's just being honest with them and with you as the viewer. It's not a hate thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
it's a I want to see them be better because they used to be at this level kind of thing. Right.
So let me ask you this question. Let's just say I have a channel and it's called Painfully Honest Tech. And I make a bunch of videos where I'm really ticked off at Apple for how they're doing something that they're doing. I then decide to get the phone to back up my talk, see if it's as bad, if it's as, see if my experience is going to be as negative as how I feel, right? I end up using the phone for a couple of weeks. I end up discovering again why iPhones typically work better for me. I decide to keep the phone. Would you rather that I decide not to tell you that I decided to keep the phone and just sort of like let it go?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you like for me B, to still do the painfully honest thing and say, hey, you know what? Even after all that, even after all the frustration, which I still feel, I I still am going to keep this device because it works well for me. So would you rather, so A or B, which would you rather, because if I don't change my mind, if I don't tell you that I have and why, then I'm not actually living up to what my channel name and what my philosophy for how I'm doing this is all about.
You
And-
guys wouldn't believe how many of your favorite tech YouTubers out there say they like this device and everything, and they and they end up having something else in their pocket.
So hold on a second, Killer Master. I said I wasn't ordering the phone, and I'm not trying to like cop out on a technicality. That video was released on iPhone pre-order night, right? So there was a context to that video
super chat
that later went ahead and wasn't necessarily still contextual because that day had passed. Okay? So I pissed off a lot of people by not ordering the phone and then going to buy it. My rationale for buying it was that I had talked about a metric ton of shit about the iPhone 10, 10s, and 10s Max, and yet, A, I'm somebody who likes Apple. B, I'm somebody who reviews smartphones on the internet. I figured, put my money where my mouth is, go try the phone, go see what I think about it. Now, if you don't think that I have the right to spend my money in whatever way I think I need to spend it or want to spend it, then that's fine. You can have that opinion. However, I never said that I wasn't going to get the phone. I thought it was understood that as somebody who reviews smartphones on the internet, and maybe this is my fault for giving people too much credit, but as somebody who reviews smartphones on the internet, I figured people would understand that even though I didn't pre-order it, when it came out, I was going to get one of the phones to review it because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And in the course of the 2 weeks that I had it to review, I decided that I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that it worked well for me. I like the form factor. I like, I like how it was working for me in my daily flow. So that's what I said in the video where I said I decided to keep it. Now, could I have said I decided to keep it in a different way that would have not pissed off as many people? I could most certainly have been much softer.
Mm-hmm.
I could, but I tweaked people. I was tweaking people the whole time because I like to challenge people's, thoughts and opinions about things. And sometimes I like to do that by goading people into an emotional state. And I was very good at that this iPhone season. I was very good at getting people to become emotional about something that really doesn't make a ton of sense being emotional about.
Again, I don't understand why people are getting so upset. Where you said one thing and went and did another, but you explained why. You explained very clearly and elegantly why.
Yeah.
So why is there this absolute attitude on, especially in the tech space? It's complete garbage. No,
well,
you're an iPhone channel. Look at me, guys. Look, it's actually very interesting because I've done mostly Android stuff on my channel. I've done a little bit of iPhone stuff, obviously, for 10 or 15 days whenever the phone comes out. But now I'm going full blast, and I showed in that one video, Huawei, Razer, Pixel. I showed all the phones that I have. I didn't show that Note for some reason. I forgot. And I haven't had anybody push back on me, but maybe it's 'cause, obviously it's still small. But come on, we're tech reviewers. That's what we do, guys.
So Killer Master once again said, so I prejudge a phone before ever having it.
Thank you, Willis.
Yeah, thank you for that super chat and that statement.
And he hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah. I don't need to have an iPhone in my hand to have thoughts about what that iPhone might be because I've had almost every iPhone ever made in my hand. Okay, so I can talk about a product based on what I know before I ever have it. Mm-hmm. That's called journalism. That's called going into the land of being, I guess, opinionated about what I'm seeing, right? That's what everybody does. That's what journalism is on that level. You know, I make opinion related pieces about what I see and what I think about it.
Mhm.
Okay. There are no absolutes where, you know, I say a bad thing about Apple and therefore, you know, I'm done with Apple forever. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And I appreciate everybody
And you
saying
know
I
what?
don't have.
And I've been that way too. Like,
Let me get through this.
okay,
I appreciate everybody who's out there saying I don't need to justify myself, and I know I don't.
Mhm.
I know I don't.
but
I
we're
mean,
having a conversation here, right?
But yeah, to tell you the God's honest truth, like the people who left were not going to stay.
They're still watching.
Plain and simple.
They're still typing in
You
your
know?
name and watching. I guarantee it.
Well, I that may be true, that may be not. The people who were following along and got the idea that I was like black and white that way,
Mm-hmm.
were never going to stay and be a part of my channel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was I call it a course correction, perhaps, that, you know, people jumped off and went someplace else or decided to lurk instead of subscribe, whatever. You know, it's really easy for people to sit at the keyboard, as Rotario is saying here about being keyboard warriors. Really easy to sit at a keyboard and type things out and send them off. And well, basically, you're just trying to pass off your insecurity, your dissatisfaction with your life, your just general ennui with your existence. You're trying to like pass that on to somebody else.
Yeah.
So they feel bad, and by
you're
making
looking for-
them feel bad, you feel better
You're
for a
looking
short
for-
period of time.
If they're looking for validation, they're not going to get in this channel. There are channels that you can definitely go to where they're all about a certain brand and everything, and they're apologists, and they make up every excuse in the world, and they'll twist things around, everything like that. Though
Yeah.
that's the channel for you to go hang out and feel good about what you did. We are not holding back here. We will hold brands and products
Yeah.
accountable. # Team Unfiltered. You're not going to get any validation here.
Right. I mean, ultimately, so Latrell's saying, I love Android. I've never really been a fan of the iPhone, even though I bought one, really get an opinion, and for YouTube videos. But my problem is Android community can be toxic at times. Well,
I think
guess what? I mean, so is I made a video
Mm-hmm.
that was like the Apple community is toxic.
Mhm.
And then I released the next video I released was I decided to keep the iPhone XS Max, and lo and behold, I got crucified for it. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the internet, and especially comment sections in places like YouTube, Reddit, et cetera, they bring out the worst in people because people feel like their words have no consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And for the by and large, their words have no consequences. Like,
Mhm.
I don't necessarily care that when people say negative things about me.
I don't care.
Negative feedback isn't what keeps people. Andy, I get what you're saying, but I think that, you know, companies will either hold themselves accountable or they will not. And so I'm not having an argument, Killer. Well, maybe you'll come back around and love my content again, because I guarantee you the next round of Apple releases, I will have negative things to say. I'll have positive things to say.
Here's a question for everybody that kind of have, you guys are Jason's audience for the most part. How do you guys feel about someone like myself, who's mostly an Android channel, and I do a little bit of Apple every October, November, whenever it comes out, and now I'm going to go a full year with this in my left pocket and the flavor of the month Android in my right pocket? I mean, is that cool? I mean, do I have to have one side? I'll be on record and I'll tell you guys right now, I do prefer Android. I know there's going to be aspects that I'm going to miss, but I'm going all the way with this one right here. I'm not putting a rubber on, and I'm putting a SIM card in there, and away we go.
That was a metaphor that I just didn't need.
I meant like a skin or something like that. Hey, have we got Dapper Dop in this?
We
got
do.
Dapper
Dop
Dop.
is in the house. Dop is in the
Dop.
house. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, I'm gonna piss people off when I decide which one of these 3 phones that I'm using right now is they're all in the running for best phone of the year.
Oh yeah, we have to do like our own like top phones for the year kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
So
wait.
I mean, I may surprise some people with what I choose, but the criteria that I'm going to use for choosing the best phone of the year will not have it won't just be about the best phone for me of the year.
Mhm.
So
You can piss some people off with your with your awards. Are
yeah,
you gonna do awards like how MKBHD does?
no, I don't have that kind of production value.
No. I didn't mean like physical awards. But like, this is the phone that I felt had the best speakers. This is the phone I felt that had the best. This is the phone I felt that checked off all the boxes for everybody.
Mine is going to be overall best phone, period. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
both more objectively than subjectively.
Okay.
Right? Because I think there's a place for objectively discussing and criticizing and all those kinds of things. But then there's also the other side of the coin where you can subjectively compare and contrast and say, this phone versus this phone versus this phone versus this phone, this one stands out to me as the better all around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with my personal choice or the personal choice of the person who's watching. They can agree with me, disagree with me, whatever they want to do.
Mhm.
But when I give out my picks for best phone of the year, it's going to be based on more subjective criteria than my objective feelings.
Gotcha.
So
Cool.
I'm trying to catch up.
You know what? I can't remember. Never mind. I can't remember.
Genosis, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's constructive conversation, respectful conversation is always. I welcome it in any venue. But so the negative comments don't bother me at all. I laugh about negative comments. I think they're hilarious. In fact, I've laughed about negative comments. I can go right to my creator studio and find some really funny negative comments right now. All I have to do is look in the held for review section.
Oh, should we go through that tonight?
I'm going there now.
You're going. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get some music. Dun 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 dun. Held for review. Held for review. It's Jason's held for review. We're gonna do now. I'm working on it.
That's it's getting there.
It's getting there. All right. Here, let's do it. Let's do it again. Dun 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 dun.
I'm trying to find good ones.
Dun 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 dun. Held for review. Held for review. Held for review.
So
Painfully honest review. I'll work on that.
I wasn't looking at the held for review. I was just looking at the regular ones, and they
I'll
were
work
pretty
on
good.
that. If someone could take that clip,
okay,
and send it on Twitter.
So
do it.
The first one in held for review.
Oh, here we go.
From Nick Gives L's.
I thought you were gonna say Nick Nimmin.
No, Nick Gives L's. This is for my. It's amazing to me. So I made this Samsung video that said, "Don't buy the Samsung Note 9," and then the thumbnail said, "Unless," and nobody connects that as a sentence.
Okay.
Right? That anyway. So Nick Gives L's commenting on that video says, "Fuck you, you dumb piece of shit."
All right, we're totally demonetized now. Now I don't feel bad about swearing earlier. We're going to the hell for review.
So I'm just going down. I'm just going down the list here.
I'm off the hook now.
Next one, Miguel Andres Martinez Torres says, "The most stupid shit is that you buy $1,000 USD phone without a fast charger. That was the real problem. But the idiots, I see what you're saying, and fanboys, go by all that Apple create or recycle. Sure. What you said. You're becoming a clickbaiter too, making reviews with personal sources. What the hell does that mean? Of course, personal preference and bias comes into effect when I'm reviewing something.
Mhm.
Why do people think that you can't be an effective reviewer unless you just read the specs off the box? Because if I were to
hate
do a
that.
totally unbiased review,
I'm getting out of that now. Hey, I'm going to stop reading the specs. I'm going to be like, you know what? I'll mention it, but I'll be like, rather than saying it's 845 Snapdragon processor and 8 gigagrams, I'm just going to say it's fast.
yeah, I mean, the only way that I could give a completely unbiased review is to read the specs off the box, show you the device, and make no comment whatsoever on anything about it. Right? Like
Yeah.
basically, here is the iPhone XS Max.
I'm 52 away from hitting 3,000.
It's awesome.
Pretty excited about that, man.
So let me see.
Pretty excited.
Next one down. Retard buying an iPhone. Haha. Okay, fine. Rizzo 905 says, if you don't have the phone, then shut the fuck up. Well, again, Riz, as I like to call you, I can certainly have a commentary about what the iPhone XR is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone. I can most
Hey.
definitely.
Gabby is in the chat. Everybody, Gabby Bonilla.
Bonilla.
Sorry, did I butcher that? Oh my god. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway,
You know, Latin.
I know. I got a bad tongue. She's gonna be lashing later. Anyway, Gabby did the background art of my thumbnail today.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
So if you go to today's video that I did, again, plug, and you take a look at that thumbnail, that background part was done by her. She actually posted the original onto her Twitter. And the image is obviously me going like this, and then the phones and then which one, and obviously bring up the saturation and everything else was done by our good friend Paul Grossclose. So Gabby, thank you for posting that on Twitter. She sent me the original high res. She's got a real talent for art and stuff like that. You guys should definitely check out Gabby. She's legit, as Vipers say. Yeah, she's good. She's good stuff.
Yeah.
Helpful review. Continue.
So I'm just gonna keep going down, and I'm only gonna go to the bottom of the first page, and I'm not gonna read them all. But so I just finished with, if you don't have the phone, then shut the fuck up. Philadelphia Eagles fan 89. Now, it's well known that the Philadelphia Eagles have the worst, most evil fan base in all of sportdom. So this should be good. Why he's so worried about the iPhone doing what the iPhone doing if he hate it as much as he claims? Stop talking about it. iPhone going to continue to sell. I get so tired of hearing this old fuck saying the same thing on every video.
Was it one complete sentence like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes he left out verbs. Sometimes, I mean,
I just like I said with like sometimes he left out verbs.
so that, yeah. So here's the next one down. Jesus, I'm sick of these YouTube videos hating about Apple. I don't give a fuck. Your channel is cancer. Same with Unbox Therapy. Apple has always been my go-to phone. I have 6S Plus from 2015, and it's smooth as butter. I bought the new S9 the other day to test Androids, and oh God, I'll never go back. Android is so bad, it's not even funny. iPhone is smooth and destroys Samsung.
That's an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped caring when he said Apple has always been my go-to phone, because that's basically saying what I think is the only thing that can be right. And the argument is over.
come on, Mike.
and he didn't call him unbox therapy. He called him inbox therapy.
Inbox therapy. You made it. Being compared to inbox therapy, you made it, buddy.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Well, no,
there is an
I'm
inbox.
just as much of my channel is as much cancer-like as inbox therapies.
inbox therapy. Oh, what a silly bitch.
Yeah. So I'll just read a couple more.
No, keep
this
on
is-
going.
This
Keep
is
on
from HGR, and this is from the iPhone 10s and 10s Max. Did they fail? Question mark video. Hi, painfully honest tech in quotation marks in all caps. I just want to say that you're a fat shit and look like you molest children from elementary schools.
He
I
was
hope-
very specific with the grade level.
Yeah.
Go get job.
I hope you didn't get offended considering this was a painfully honest, all caps, in quotes, comment. Yeah,
How do you
I'm-
respond to something like that?
that you don't.
That's
Uh,
wow. That was just wow.
Yeah.
Very specific about the schools.
yeah. I mean, well, I guess.
Wow.
So there's such, so Genesis is asking, like, can I make videos on these kind of troll troll
Oh, I
comments?
think you should, and you should
But the
definitely
thing is,
have.
then I'm just like feeding the negativity. That's the
But no,
reason
no,
that
no,
I
no, no.
don't.
Then you have me record the music. Hell for review. Hell for review. I'm gonna work on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I don't have the best voice, but it's not bad. It's not good, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
So I'm just going to read a couple more. Bushman 223,
Bushman, watch out.
you dumbass Apple hater, lol, cryy face. And so it's got that emoji that has like you're laughing so hard that tears are coming out of your eyes.
That's my favorite. I use the straight on one, like, and then I use the. So my emojis are usually
Yeah.
that's
So-
that's the one I use. Right.
I mean, Bushman, if you're listening, dumbass is one word, not two. If you're gonna say you dumbass Apple hater, lol, you have to put a comma after hater.
Hmm.
And then after your emoji, you must put a period.
Yeah, if you're gonna insult Jason, let's get the grammar. Right? Let's get it down, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
You know what I'm saying?
okay, this is the last. I said I'd just go to the bottom of the page.
No
This is
regrets.
The last one. Sunny S says, "Fuck you. You are a big joke." Okay,
That's it?
that was held for review.
That was well, he told you, fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, the page started with "fuck you, you dumb piece of shit," and it ended with "fuck you."
I think every 2 weeks we should do a hell for review at the end, like we are right now. For we should mark it on the calendar. Every 2 weeks at the end of the podcast, we should do a hell for review for something for people to look forward to. Would you guys like that? Every couple weeks, every 2 weeks on the podcast here. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll do another one of these.
Only for the studio audience, though.
Yeah, and I go through mine, all my hell for reviews. This is they're all hashtag Zach Pack because you can't you can't give the okay.
You
on
can't
certain
whitelist
whitelist a
hashtag.
hashtag.
Yeah.
Either all blocked or not. So all my held for review are people like Zach Pack, Zach Pack, people that love me. And yours are like legit held for review. Oh man.
Yeah. It's, I mean, and I want to say this, and believe me now or believe me later, or whatever. None of this bothers me at all.
Yeah.
It tells me that I'm doing something right. If I get people angry enough at me to take the time to write these hateful comments, then I'm engendering an emotional response, which is what I need to do in order to get people to watch my videos. I don't know why people think that the goal of YouTube is not to get people to watch your videos. I mean, that's the goal.
We're gonna set up that
the
other
more the
channel.
merrier.
We're gonna set up that other channel tonight, aren't we? We'll do it after this. We'll make it real quick just to get it taken care of.
What are we doing?
We're gonna make that other channel that we talked about really quick. We're gonna put it under your account because you already have Painfully Honest Tech, so it just makes sense.
I understand.
Does that make sense? Like it wouldn't make sense for me to have a Painfully Honest. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Cool. Do you want to wrap things up? Okay. So here's the things, guys. Jason didn't even want to come on tonight. He was so bushed and so tired from last night. Again, thank you all for that. They were there last night. Thank you all for supporting Jason. For even for agreeing with him, for yelling at him. All he really wants is engagement and thoughtful conversation. So if you're part of that, thank you for that and helping him with his growth. I really do. I appreciate that because I look up to him a ton. If you were there last night, awesome. If you're here again tonight, you're even more awesome. So thank you to the people in the chat listening and everything. Seriously, thank you to you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, and
close us out.
yeah, and I do want to reiterate what Zach just said. I really do appreciate everybody who shows up. People.
I begged him. I'm like, just give us an hour, please, just an hour, because I was looking forward to this all day because we didn't get to do it last week.
An hour turned into 3 hours.
Yeah,
which is always what happens.
And we had fun, right? We're gonna get off here. You're gonna hit the stop broadcasting button, and the first thing you're gonna say is, "Yeah, you know what? I'm glad we did that."
Well, I am glad. It was a good conversation. I thought the podcast portion had some good stuff, and then we got to air a few grievances here in this latter part.
Killer Master 666. I am not his lawyer, but I am his friend.
Yeah, Zach's not a lawyer.
No way, I'm a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer, as Tech Rant said earlier.
Oh yeah, guys, don't forget Thursday. If you are on Twitter, completely at and go after Jason on Thursday because it's his birthday, not tomorrow. Thursday, Painfully Honest birthday. Thursday. Go nuts on him. Fill up his inbox.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
but totally not necessary.
I think you guys should just to really fuck with him. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man. All you folks out there, so much appreciated. I will. You can find the link to merch and such in the description of any video, including this one, Latrell, and anybody else who's interested in that kind of stuff. Description of this video.
Here, I'll put a link in the chat. That's his merch.
There. That's it. No, I'll be 204. Don't age me by a decade, Steven.
And that's me right there if you guys are looking for me. All my other social medias are Zach Talks Tech. So you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I do not do the Snapchat. I don't get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm also on MySpace, and I have 10 friends, 3 of them pending.
I'm still on MySpace somehow.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, I am. My band was, of course, on MySpace.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I will be 47 on Thursday. So
no, 204.
Yeah.
Wizard Squad. We didn't get a Wizard Squad tonight. What happened with that, eh?
No, Tech Rant was in here with the Wizard Squad early. Yeah.
I must have missed it. I was probably mixing my drink, eh? So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe so.
Or just, enjoying the after effects.
True. I have to film right now, man. I have to go.
Let's
go.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Until the next time, we are, as I say, out.